This episode brought to you by Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
All right, guys, welcome to another ClevelandMoto Podcast. We are podcast number 328. Ooh. And go ahead and light them if you got them. And this, by the way, Arrogant Bastard whiskey, provided to us by Chris Smith, no relation. Chris Smith, who's going to be joining us, I believe, on June 2nd or 3rd for our podcast.
Awesome.
Coming in from the land of Can's ass.
Ooh, just in time for Ohio to lift their COVID restrictions.
Hated by many, loved by few, it says on the top of the bottle. And we're going to check it to see. We're going to check for quality. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dan? Is that quality?
That sounds like real quality.
Okay, that's not... God, it fucking smells like perfume.
Wait till you try it.
Holy shit. God, that smells good. Damn. I mean, that's... Oh, that smells...
Give me a little hit.
Yeah, it's your birthday.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
This is literally Sleepy's 50th birthday present, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Smith, not you, but the other Smith.
I will be his representative on this.
Yeah, you can be.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, so this is...
Don't mention it.
This is Arrogant Bastard whiskey, aged in oak barrels for 25 months. You're not worthy.
Oh, it smells so good.
It does smell good.
You're making me want
fucking good.
Really?
Wow.
The fucking sound guy. The fucking sound guy.
Yeah.
I gotta sit here and stuff this fucking mic down my mouth.
Just
so you can let your
ringtone. Yeah. So that's pretty.
Why don't you fart
cool.
and burp into the mic too?
Yeah. Don't think it goes unnoticed.
I'm just gonna sit here. That's what
It goes unnoticed. The again. So we are kind of getting new to this whole having a fucking sponsor thing, right? The whole idea of there's a sponsor involved, right? And that we may have to start doing things in accordance with sponsorship.
I did all kinds of things.
When you look at the video, so the video that Steve dropped the other night, is fucking delightful. It's one of my favorite videos of us sitting at a table doing what we do best, bullshitting, right? But it's a really good video. It's like an actual watchable thing.
Yeah, right.
Now, I never thought I'd watch a fucking podcast. I'm going to tell you, I tried watching Joe Rogan, can't do it. I even like the What the Fuck podcast, Mark Maron. It's tough to watch it. So I hope that folks are watching us and that they're digging it as opposed to just listening through their fucking ear holes, you know? So this is something for your eye holes too. So rock on. To my left,
Nick Divitto.
And Nick rode here tonight on
The Super Hawk.
And again, not a VTR 1000.
No, it's a 66.
CB77.
Yep.
Yeah, right? So it's 1966 Super Hawk. Fucking cool. And then,
Dan Kromke.
what'd you ride tonight?
The America.
Triumph America. Yeah, very fucking cool. And to his left,
Steve Hoffert.
And I was very proud to see that you chose to ride my old bike tonight.
The Transalp.
Fucking Transalp.
Yep,
Yeah.
I love that bike.
Yeah, it is. It's so in case you're wondering why it's called a Transalp, it's a VTwin motorcycle that chooses to dress like an adventure bike. Hence the term Transalp. That's it. And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
John, what'd you ride tonight?
A 2012 Kia Sorento.
Hey, all right. And to his left,
Chris Smith.
And yes, you showed up proudly on the
Janus.
Exactly. I love the fact that the man that owns one is now taken to calling it a Janus.
That's okay. It's coming whether I want it or not. So. I just feel it creeping a little bit now.
It does. There's a little bit of
starting to creep in.
You've learned that.
Yeah, and I shift a little bit when it creeps.
Janus will happen.
Yes.
Does your Janus have a new saddle on it?
It does, in fact.
Oh, it was a nice, smooth saddle on that Janus.
And did the saddle come with ass cheeks already built into it?
No, that was an upgrade.
Oh.
So Mrs. Smith bought me the upgraded. It's a wider seat, and then it's got the ass pads.
The ass cutlets.
So I took the old seat off.
Right.
And I went down to, what is it about?
So your Janus has beautiful ass cheeks now.
It does.
Smile when you say that.
He is smiling.
Have you experienced any seepage?
So I took the old seat down to a leather guy down on Detroit Road.
Oh, really? That's what he called himself? He said, hey.
He's a leather man?
Chris.
Is it the manhole?
Chris, I'm a leather guy. Yeah.
Down about 60th, 65th.
Did he have a multicolored flag on the front of his business?
He did not.
Did he have a ball gag and was named
Gimp?
He went by Steve, so I don't know whether that says anything. But I gave him my old seat, and then so he stuffed in some extra padding in
I
there.
see that. Some ass cutlets.
Well, no, so that one's at home.
Oh, so he did. So he modified your old seat.
Correct.
Kick ass.
We need to take the SSR seats to this guy.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
He needs to
I'm
link
telling
from
you,
them.
it was very reasonable, and you know, I gave him the seat, and he said, "Well, I'll call you when it's done." And 2 hours later, he called me. He said, "Okay, it's done." I thought,
Get the fuck out of here.
nobody does anything that
Are you
quick.
kidding me? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Plus, he's willing to take good old American cash.
That's
so,
even better.
So that worked for me.
Just wanted your Janice out of there.
Pardon me?
He said as soon as Chris said, he goes, the sooner you get this done, the sooner I can put it back on my Janus.
You know, I walked outside to check out Chris's Janus, and like, there's fingerprints all over it, and just drips, and like, it's just, he's not taking care of his Janus very well.
You probably should wipe your Janus.
Just wipe it down once in a while.
Well, and
man.
Cinch is complaining, "Oh, this is filthy." I said, Cinch, how would you know?
Well, I've cleaned up my Janus recently.
Nice.
So,
Extremely weird laws, in case you were wondering, talking about leather.
wait, who's to your left?
Oh, yeah. Who is to your left?
Oh, me, Steve
Biblical.
Sleepy.
I don't want him to get cut out of the introduction.
That's exactly right. We do not want to cut Sleepy out.
No, that's fine.
And Sleepy brought the audio gear, so he showed up today Hyundai powered, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're Hyundai
Yeah,
powered.
but we did ride last night, though, so that was good enough.
That, which is fucking great, and we'll talk about that too. And then I am here because I work here, and also today in front of the room, the elephant in the room, or in this case, the cub in the room, is the Honda Super Cub, which I have had cub envy since Steve got his cub, and sometimes the fish jump right in the damn boat. And this was from one of our customers who traded me this lightly modified Honda Super Cub for a TNT 135.
But if you guys were fishing and Steve had a trout,
Yeah.
you got the rainbow trout.
Well, it does have a rainbow colored exhaust.
Yeah.
Right. It's got the Yoshimura upgrade. It's got the parcel carrier in the genital region, and it has a bottle opener built into the parcel carrier. And
there's a
Chris-
lot of good going on.
Yeah, as Chris pointed out, it has a grocery bag carrier as well built into it. It's very clever. It had red and white tassels hanging from the end of the bars, which I performed a bris and got rid of them. And because the bike's name is definitely Pee-wee.
It has grips and a lever, too.
It does have an aftermarket lever.
Hey, you
Yeah.
Magazi? What are you, a fucking Magazi?
What are you, fucking Magazzi? Because that's what it says on the grips.
That's what the grips say.
And the suspension is YSS, and the chain has been upgraded to one that is gold.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there are some things in the rear passenger seat upgrade, which
Pimp
is
my
hilarious.
Super Cub.
Well, which is hilarious that I gave Steve the passenger peg, like the beautiful, gorgeous made passenger peg kit. And so he's got that on his bike, and now I've got a seat with no pegs.
So give him back, Steve.
I'll give him back.
No, you don't have to
Give
give him
it-
back.
no, give him
keep
back.
him,
Come
dude.
on.
Keep him. Keep him.
What he wants is anybody that's riding the back
Right.
has to wrap their legs up and around.
Up and around my junk. Yeah, that's it. So if you're on the back, you got to be in the praying mantis position.
I have had
With
that
the
happen.
stilettos.
Yes.
I have had that happen
Yep.
on my CT9.
See, that's. I'm telling you, these bikes. The less prone you are to have a back seat, the more prone you are to accidentally pick up tail. So that's the thing. Be careful. So that bike showed up the shop today, and now I'm the proud owner of it, and it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it does
What
sound
do you
really,
think about
really
that,
good.
Nick? I mean,
Oh, it sounds fantastic. I've been looking at exhausts for my CT 140, and that sounds. You know what? There's very expensive exhausts out there. How much was this one?
Steve, what do you say that one is?
They're $5.99.
Yeah.
Like 600.
Yep.
You know, I struggle to justify an exhaust that is half that
Right.
for my CT 140.
Exactly.
But damn, does it sound good.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. I want to know, is it the can? Because my 135, I have a header and I got rid of all the shit, and it has that DG can on it, but I have to run a baffle in it because without it, it's so loud that you can't ride the bike. This thing, when you give it full throttle, it's just deep and barky,
Yeah.
but it's nice.
It's very throaty, don't you think?
It
Yeah.
just depends, though, because I have a Yoshi. I had a Yoshi on my Ruckus,
yeah.
and it was loud as all get out.
That was.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
So this one
can't
is
sneak in at night?
perfect. It's got a really deep
Yeah.
deep
Right,
tone.
it's
It's like an unobtrusive deep tone.
It's not overly loud though.
I wonder what it's packed with. Is it a fiberglass pack or is it just a screen, drilled tube? I mean,
I don't know.
What's
but
going on in there?
It changed the personality. Like it's like a hot girl in a dress, and she comes up and she's like, "Hello."
My name is Rebecca. So we were talking about weird laws, and you mentioned leather. Okay. So there used to be a shop in Cleveland called Law's Leather. And if Law's Leather still exists, I'm sorry that the rumors of your death have been greatly exaggerated. Okay. But Law's Leather is a particular gay pride. Like they handmade beautiful, amazing leather things that you could hit other people with. That was their forte. Their forte was like, so Steve, what do you think if it would feel like if I hit you with this? And you're like, no, make it bigger.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what they did, is they just made things to hit other people with. And Merritt and I, when we were racing, we used to fall down a lot. So we'd fall down a lot and we'd just tear holes in kind of expensive leathers. And the one day I had a leather racing suit that had been down the track at 90 miles an hour or so, and it had various different cuts, chips, and abrasions.
It was a bit tatty.
It looked, well, there were parts of my skin you could see through it, and that's not a good idea for leathers. So I went to Law's Leathers. And, our shop was in Lakewood at the time. We were extremely friendly with the gay community. And I was like, these guys know how to put leather together. This is what they do. And in the shop, front window of Law's Leather, they had a complete 100% gimp suit that was just fucking fantastic. Like 5 different layers of leather and color and shit. I was like, if they can do that, they can fix a fucking set of leathers. My Techniques is going to be no problem for these guys. So we took our leathers in, and Merritt was riding the Dionysi at the time, and I was running the Techniques suit, and we took it in, and I said, hey, man, can you do me a favor and fix this? He's like, well, wow, we don't normally work on motorcycle leathers, but what's the rule? And I was like, well, it's got to pass tech. It's got to get through, like, somebody's going to scrutineer it and look at it and go like, yep, that's a decent repair. We'll let you on the track. It's got to be something better than duct tape. And he's like, yeah, I'll take care of that for you. And he's like, do you have any preference to like color? And I was like, I wanted to say, fucking go crazy, dude.
Yeah, surprise me.
Because my leathers were red, white, and black, look like Spider-Man castaways, right? And hers were beautiful titanium silver and white and gorgeous fucking Dionysies. And so I was like, well, just keep it somewhat in the theme. And just like what you said, the guy called me maybe 7 hours later, said, it's all done. Come and get it. And the guy that was behind the counter did look like he should work at Law's Leathers.
Right.
I mean, this guy looked like, well, let's just call it what it is. The dude was the bear of all bears.
Right.
Like he was the bear. And I showed up and he gives me this thing and he shows me the workmanship and he backed everything up and the stitching was impeccable. It looked fucking great. And I was like, yeah, okay, what do I owe you for this? He was like, I don't even know how to price it out. I've never done such a small amount of work in my life. I was like, okay, great. And he's like, give me $80.
That's awesome.
I was just shocked. And so I was like, yes, faster. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, give me a couple of those Law's Leather t-shirts and I'll wear them at the track. And their shirts were great because the bondage flag, we're all into flags these days. Everybody has the law enforcement flag with the blue stripe on it. And then there's the fire department flag with the red stripe on it. And it all comes out of like that awesome gay pride flag, right? With all the different rainbow colors on it. Well, it turns out the bondage flag, the B&D flag, if you like bondage and discipline, the flag is white, blue, and black stripes. And over and over and over again. It's really kind of cool looking, but it's not all rainbow. It's white, blue, and black, white, blue, and black. Kind of a cool looking flag.
Sounds like bruises.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, right?
Did he charge you for the zibber that started here and went around?
And went all the way through. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To make it, well, and if you've ever worn racing leathers,
that would be a bonus.
That's a fucking bonus. Because Valentino Rossi's thrown a race having to go take a 10-100. But for real, I was like, give me a couple of shirts. I bought a couple of shirts from him, and the shirts were white, blue, and black. Black and blue stripes with a big heart on them. A big friendly heart on them. I was like, fuck yeah. And it says Law's Leathers, which Law's Leathers is a very macho sounding like, a cop would shop at Law's Leathers. I'll bet you a few do. But I was wearing the shirt and every once in a while I'd be somewhere and somebody who would be in on the joke would be like, oh, I see. Nice. Law's Leathers. Yeah, we know who those guys are because they're a big deal, I guess, in the community. So kick ass. I bet you didn't know that in Ohio, Cleveland in particular, it is illegal for women to wear patent leather shoes.
What?
It's on the goddamn books. So it is in Cleveland. It's illegal for women to wear patent leather shoes. Yes, in fact, the concern stems from seeing the reflection of a lady's underwear in the shiny surface of the material.
Or lack thereof.
And imagine all those Catholic school girls that couldn't go into city of Cleveland.
Bingo. This law does not forbid men from rocking a super shiny pair of patent pumps. So at least someone is able to be fashionable in Cleveland.
Wow.
There you go. Hey, so I'm going to put my foot under there. Never mind my patent leather shoe, my bright parade shine Corcoran between your stems.
Rocky River doesn't have that law.
I don't know. No, they don't. There's a little bit of a news story going on. If you type in like Rocky River teacher indiscretion / text messaging test.
Beaver shot.
Beaver shot. Right now, all of our podcast listener is like, Beaver shot Rocky River teachers. It's a fucking story, man. I didn't write it.
One of my old friends, she led the protests because her daughter went to the school or something.
Oh, wow.
So she led she was all on the news saying like, this is disgusting and blah, blah, blah and all this stuff. Whatever.
Lousy slut.
Damn them.
Damn them to hell. That's it. Damn them to hell. Yeah. So anyway, thought that was a funny thing for Lost Leathers to do that. It's fucking hilarious. Just wanted to let you know that support for the Cleveland Moto Podcast tonight is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools. I just got that. Tools. Tools for your family jewels. Manscaped has just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. It's the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, including Sleepy. You were wondering who's going to be the first person around this table to do that. Guess what? Early adopter. With this exclusive offer, that's right, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. But you've got to go to manscaped.com and punch in Cleveland Moto. All one goddamn word.
So
Cleveland Moto.
I thought
Punch it in.
This is another trimmer. And it's quality, and it's a trimmer, but like it's a trimmer, right? There's not going to be any difference to it.
Again, that shit has been around for about 100 years.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have tattoos. I like to shave the tattooed areas because it makes them look a little cleaner. Well, with lotion, whatever. But anyways, with all the hair, and usually you pinch the shit out of yourself or something. So whatever they have going on with that white, I think it's ceramic or
ceramic,
something.
Dude.
Okay.
It's a ceramic. Okay, this fucked me up. I'm all for using ceramics, like modern space age materials, in different ways. Okay. But ceramic to me has always just been, I can think of it in law enforcement applications as body armor and shit like that. I can think of ceramic as being, I have a ceramic knife at my home, in my house, that is sharper than the goddamn devil himself.
Right.
And that knife refuses to go dull. And it will cut a watermelon as soon as look at it. But I never thought about putting it on a fucking trimmer.
But I can't believe that it makes it so you really can't cut yourself. So what happened was my wife went to visit her sister, and she lives far enough away that when she's gone, my whole day is myself.
Yeah.
So I fucked around in the garage. I worked on motorcycles. I did all this shit. And it got to be like 7:30, and I'm like, I gotta go take a shower. While I was up there, I pulled out the Manscaped or whatever, the lawnmower.
Yeah, lawnmower.
And I did my arms because they're tattoos, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do my legs, and just kept going.
Yeah, you're totally fucking streamlined,
no,
dude.
I am. There's no hair. So I had.
Did you have the buddy in the shower do your back for you?
No. But I seriously had like a 5 pound.
You got the Manscaped 4.0 reach around attachment.
But I had like a 5 pound ball of hair on the ground. I'm like, holy shit!
It looked like you hit a cat.
It did. But here's the messed up part. So they said in the thing that they're not afraid of real stories. So this is a real story.
Really?
So
we're going there.
I shaved it all down, right? Everything. I just went nuts.
Wait, did you have a trimmer guard on it? Did you use a guard?
No,
you went
guard. I fucking just went nuts.
Newborn baby.
Yeah, dude, I was smooth. But here's the messed up thing. So this is kind of gross, but it's interesting.
You cut the whole thing off?
No. But as a dude, you do have some butt hair, right? And when you fart, somehow that causes it to just blow through the area, right?
Well, it's like a silencer.
Right.
Yeah.
So in my excitement of shaving everything, like I pretty much smoothed everything out, and then I put pants on. I went downstairs, and I'm at home by myself, just watching TV, and I farted.
So wait a second. Now, are you talking about your geesh or your actual butthole?
No, the crack.
The crack.
The whole area.
Well, the whole crack.
The exhaust port.
The exhaust
The crevice.
port. Right.
Yeah.
So
the trench.
What I'm saying
It's
is
called the
that,
anal cleft.
What I'm saying is that when you usually have hair there, it's a barrier enough that it lets everything escape.
Okay.
But when
Yeah.
you don't, and your butt's closed together, the bubbles go brr, brr, brr.
So the idea is that your butthole hair doesn't let your butt door slam shut.
Right. And it just lets it expel itself. But in this case,
It's like having your toe in the door.
I was so smooth that I had butt bubbles just moving up and down. And I've never been so happy that nobody else was home.
So was it leaving trackage up the back of your shirt there?
I'm not shitting myself. It was just a fart.
It was reverberating
So
through the canal.
I have a little Manscaped story that happened just before I was leaving for the podcast.
Oh, wonderful.
Now, you mentioned 40 million satisfied men around the world.
Yeah, right.
Well, you can add to that one satisfied woman. Because as I was getting ready to leave for the podcast, who's getting ready to go down to Florida and probably go in a swimming pool and whatever, says, hey, you know, that Manscaper thing works really well.
No way.
And I'm like, really? She's like,
And you're like, let me see.
yeah. And I'm like,
Get out of here.
It does work really well.
Would that be a lady scaper at that point, though?
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to
cares?
increase your sales,
If you want to increase your sales, that's a real good way to do it.
we can go womanscaper, landscaper, person
fantastic.
scaper, whatever you want to scaper.
And again,
It scaped her really well.
it scaped her down to the level of a 15 or 16-year-old, I swear.
I'll be leaving the podcast as soon as it's over.
Right. There's important business to tend to at home. Yeah. That's the thing was, what I was thinking was like, you know, that whole concept being like, okay, well, yeah, there are things that are off limits and we're going to try to make some of those things on limits again.
Right. No, it is amazing how close. I mean, and like I know we're talking about, but like who would have thought that like that tech, like what changing one thing would change the way it works? Like it really doesn't snag your skin.
The end of
The engineers
the end
do
of
that.
that blade is
That's
very
called
rounded
skin
and
safe
smooth.
technology. Skin safe technology is what they
Okay,
call that.
well, whatever they call it, it works. So it's cool.
Works,
Well,
man.
it does say not to use it without the guards on the
that
wrinkly
SST?
parts.
On the wrinkly parts?
The problem is the older you get, the more wrinkly parts you have.
There aren't any parts that aren't wrinkled.
Right.
It does make it easier to shave some things because you just pull them out and put them on the table.
As I always have to be the naysayer. Right. I did use it on my beard, and as you can see, it did work and everything. Yeah. But compared to my normal electric plug-in trimmer and everything, it didn't quite have the horsepower. But that's not really what this was designed for heavy beard shaving. I think if you want to take your beard off,
Dude, I shaved 6 pounds of hair off me and it still had battery left.
no problem with the battery power. Great for, I got up my nose a little bit. I got the ear hair. I got a lot of things. But yeah, I was very.
I got a lot of things.
I just generally
Was this before or after your wife used it?
Well, it was before, but it's not like it's really big difference. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that picture up there sums it up right there.
my face has been closed.
That's it. Yeah, that picture right there. That picture wraps it up for me.
So he should become the grumpy sewer guy now.
Yeah,
It's not like my face hasn't been up.
I am absolutely telling you that there is that thing, because I mean I have been grooming myself tip to tail for a very, very long time. It's one of those things. I am a person who was the right age in the 90s when we pierced everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, at one point I had probably an extra 9.5 ounces of metal in my body from holes I put in all parts of me. Nick, there was this time, it was the early 90s. And
I was born then.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't all about how many tattoos you could do. It was as much metal as you could put in your face. And then when your face was full, you worked on your junk.
And then the tattoos were, I come out to that, they were tribal to show that you were fucking, basically, you were going to put plates in your lips eventually.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And the bottom of my dick looked like a machine. Yeah. At some point, I was like,
want to know this.
at some point, I was like, this is majestic. Oh. Right? And so, yeah, at some points, all the pieces of metal would touch each other, but then at other points, those pieces of metal would be very far apart.
Did it make a sound?
A lot of sound.
And you had what, like 18 inches to shave, right?
Well, yeah, it's 14 inches.
All those pieces of metal would be very far apart.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And
Fucking Mr. Jingling.
it was, I can tell you guys, it is a factual thing that sometimes when you're like, I'm going to go run and do that thing, and you'd run and something would fall out of your pants. And you'd be like, oh, that was like $14. Like, yeah, that was like $26 worth of jewelry that just fell out of my pants.
So, Phil, if somebody listening to this decides, hey, I would like to try this, what can Cleveland Moto offer these fine listeners?
Yeah, so this is the silly thing. I mean, we're having a lot of fun with it right now, but honestly, the shit does work. So, it's a thing that if you're not doing it, maybe give it a shot, right?
Or if you need this particular device, this is probably a better one.
Just keep in mind, 20% off. Yeah, okay, that's not an insignificant amount of money, but...
I can warn you, though, you might want to pack that shit away because now I got grandma in the house, and I can handle my wife using it, but I don't.
No, that's it.
Grandma's coming around, baby.
Grandma or my 14-year-old daughter.
I will geofence that
I'm putting
shit.
it back in the box, and it's going in my drawer for personal, like, you have to ask.
A couple of things I do want to mention. 20% off and free shipping with our code.
How do you get that?
Cleveland Moto is the code. Cleveland Moto. You're
so look
listening
at
to
the bottom of the
podcast.
screen right
Look
now.
at the bottom of the goddamn screen. It says Cleveland Moto, probably right in that area.
Yep.
Spelling counts.
Yep. And exactly. But that's at manscaped.com. 20% off, absolutely free shipping, which we all know free shipping is the little cherry on top.
Yep.
Right. Free shipping just makes you feel better. I just ordered some shit for our Shirai charger, and I made it a point to get the free shipping. Because why? I felt like I was getting something for nothing. Nothing. I like where it says unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And right tools for the job? Apparently, not my 1957 Oster trimmers. Right. Which the lights, every time I plug it in, the lights get darker in the bathroom. Yeah. Not the way to go. Turns out living better with ceramic blade. What'd you call it?
Skin safe technology.
SST.
And the bootleg version, the Bushwhacker.
The not even a thing. The Bushwhacker's no bueno. Not great. The Bushwhacker's just a guy who shows up at your house with an Australian accent. Yeah.
With a string trimmer.
With a string trimmer and a machete. That's it. Yeah.
Or Steve.
Or Steve, exactly. Just shows up and just like, fuck it, we're taking it all. But that is...
Steve had a staring contest with it. He just looked at it and was like, fuck you, you're not coming near me.
You're like, what is this?
Steve's would not accept one.
No, I think
Did you know
face
that-
trimmer.
he's not going to go it. He's not going there.
He
He's against
personally
the concept.
chews off every hair. He doesn't trim it.
That's exactly it. Yeah. He turns his cheeks inside out and chews the hair on the outside of his face. Yeah.
You can turn his into some kind of prize for
Actually,
competition.
we have talked about that. So what we are going to do is we have a little thing going on at the Moto Stories Lunky Phil thing. If you guys have been watching this last one with Oscar talking about Raven trying to smuggle the machine gun barrels into Mexico, safety tip, don't take machine guns or machine gun parts into Mexico.
Yeah.
If you watch this video, Moto Stories Lunky Phil, that Steve and Fernando put together, if you watch this, Oscar does a beautiful job of telling people why it's a really bad idea.
Well, I just like the fact that people were like, if the pictures did not accompany this, I wouldn't have believed the story. So that was the
Well, I have one question, okay?
Fire away.
I listened to that.
Yeah.
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
And I told you that the background music made me want to throw up. I don't know why. But it's not,
fine.
But I want to know
Yeah.
what this means.
Well, so
On
this
the
means
nose.
this means you're either on the nose, or when we used to say is this is hush hush and on the down low.
Yeah.
So if you do a little finger to the side of your nose, that's like this is a secret. But
Or it's information like it's
Okay,
like
so this is on the down low?
this is like you're on the nose. So
Right on
like
You're right? So that means you're right?
fair dinkum.
yeah.
Okay, and then
right.
this means just keep it to yourself.
This is like this is like hey,
Like a tip. If
little
somebody's giving you a
little
tip-
secret tip,
Yeah, like if when you go to that bar, if you really want the
This
good
also
drinks,
means-
talk
this
to the
also means-
second bartender, okay? Hey?
yeah.
Well, also, I think I've seen like old-timey Santa Clauses also doing
Yes,
that.
lay his finger aside his nose.
And in the late 80s, early 90s, when you were in the clubs and people
Yes.
were near the bathrooms,
Right.
they'd go like this.
You
but
go
that
like
meant
this.
something completely different.
That was if you got that signal from anybody. The
were
problem was that
sneef.
signal was usually going to the guy behind you or the chick behind you,
and you were like, yeah, okay.
and you're like somebody throw you that signal and you'd be like I'm in, and then you realize really quickly you weren't that cool. Yeah, I'd be like no, not you. your friend.
I haven't been to the like pickup bars in a long time,
Right.
Because I'm old and whatever.
Yeah.
But how many times that happened to me? So many fucking times where this girl's looking at me and I'm like, oh my god, this is it. And
Right.
she's smiling and going like that, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
woo!
Yeah.
And then the dude behind me walks up and goes and hugs her, and you're like completely dejected. You're
Because
like,
he's got 19 little bags of blow in his pockets. Right. And I'm like, well, okay.
and he didn't look like a desert troll either. So
dance my way over there. Like, I'm gonna pull my best, Dr. Zemo impersonation and work
Well,
my
the
way
other guy
over.
got there first because he just walked.
Exactly. Yeah, right. I'm going to assure you, the number of times I have ended up in a strange bathroom with strange people that involved white powder. Again, there's a price for using cocaine, and it's the guy you're in the bathroom with.
if you're always hanging out in bakeries, you're gonna fucking have flour fucking thrown around. So that's just what happens.
There you go. Yep. And it was just like fucking Hollywood production of Christmas Story. The not even joking.
This has nothing to do with that.
How did we end up talking so much about the early 90s?
My wife baked me a loaf of bread today.
Yeah.
And it totally imploded. So it was square like this, but it was concave. Like,
And was it mega dense?
it was so. I mean, you could kill somebody with that thing. I liked it, but still, it was like.
You know what? The first 400 bites
fiber.
weren't bad. High in
He's like
fiber.
one bite.
No, it's only this. It was the loaf is supposed to be this tall.
Right.
It was this tall.
No, what she made for you was a thing that they like to call brick.
He's still chewing the first bite. It hasn't gone down yet.
Yeah, if you would have thrown some sugar in there, it would have been a Lorna Doone. The world's worst cookie.
Au contraire. I love Lorna
I love
Doone.
Lorna Doones also.
Whoa. He's allowed to. He's Scottish.
Yeah,
Just
You're just
shortbread.
old.
I'm just a Janus.
You like the hard candies that old ladies.
Do you know what
put
I
out
like
on
the best
table,
there,
too?
Steve? I like those Werther's Originals. Those are good. You know, you don't take your dental work
Just
out
a
or
little
anything.
treat, once in a while.
Could I have some black licorice, please?
Fucking stupid.
Black licorice.
You're like,
Oh my
I like
God.
black licorice.
Fuck you.
you probably like fennel.
What's the matter with
I like
Werther's?
fennel also.
Well, I'm Italian. I love fennel, but
Yes, exactly. You know, I just like a nice anise biscuit. Give me a nice pizzelle and I'm happy.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Keeps
I'll
the
knock
mail
hell
moving.
out of a pizzelle.
My dad married into a Sicilian family, and my dad's a Scottish guy, right? Scottish as fuck, like literally his father's name. My grandfather's name is Charles Wallace Waters. When you put Wallace anywhere in a name,
Wallace.
so anyway, my dad marries into a Sicilian family. That dude became the Sopranos overnight. You'd thought my dad was like fucking John Paul Gotti instantly.
The fuck you looking at?
Yeah, he married his way into like mafioso. It was hilarious to see a giant, obviously Scottish person pretending to be Sicilian. My whole fucking life.
But you know what happens, man?
That's code for it's not cool.
I moved to New York for about a year, many years ago to
Start
live.
talking like an asshole.
Dude, I lived on Staten Island with a bunch of fucking just Staten Island scumbags.
You mean guineas?
Yeah, yeah. And 6 months into it, I swear I was going to forget about it. Like, it was embarrassing. Seriously embarrassing, man. Like, if I could go back and kick my own ass back then, I would do it. I really would.
And we're not saying that these are stupid people.
No.
But we're saying that they have there's a cultural dialect there.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. So there's a nightclub on Staten Island, at least back then, called Hips, right? And so they were like, we're going to go to this club, whatever. And there's like 3 cars in the parking lot, and you walk in, and it's like a horrible strip club, and there's like 2 70-year-old ladies with gunshot wounds on the pole. I'm like, why would you bring me here?
Right.
And then they opened the door, and we walked in the back.
Yeah.
And then there was 500 guys playing poker, and then hot girls.
Exactly.
And I was like,
You got to go in the back.
yeah, I didn't know about that.
The front is just the staging area.
And basically,
Yeah.
to answer your question, Steve, to bring it all around, when I was like, what's going on here? The guy did go through the back door.
That's good. And I was watching Some Like It Hot
Okay.
with
Marilyn Monroe.
No, it was Tony Curtis, and was she in that too? I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of her jam.
Okay, so I only saw like 15 minutes.
You're
of it
watching
today.
Some Like It Hot. You mean with Marilyn Monroe? No, Tony Curtis.
No, because the only part I
3
saw.
stars. It's a fucking great movie.
Nick has no idea about anything we're talking about right now.
I only saw a very
You
tiny
might as well
part
be
of
saying
it.
you watched The Wiggles and like all right, yeah.
I
whatever.
thought this was a motorcycle podcast.
We'll get to that.
I don't know what I signed up.
Nick
What a
already
joke.
fixed the motorcycle.
Right, I did,
Yeah.
but
He already wrenched on the bike.
you guys can finish the story.
It's okay. We'll finish the whole fucking podcast if you like.
All right, so you're watching Tony Curtis.
But it just reminded me of that because they had a funeral, and you had to say, "I'm coming to Grandma's funeral," and then they opened the door and they went to the back room, and they had that
yeah, it was crazy.
party going on in the back, and then
Well, there was a giant fence behind this place, and it just looked like, I don't know, like a backyard fence. But that's where there was all Cadillacs parked. The whole fucking back was like 50 Cadillacs back there. It was interesting, man.
It's to go back to a slightly motorcycle-related topic. Our governor just decided that by June 2nd that he's going to stop the COVID restrictions. Okay, so now this is the thing that we want to bring up for one important reason, because AMA Vintage Days, long may she reign, right? As I like to call Valhalla, right? Yeah, us. I mean, literally, it's man camp. AMA Vintage Days, the coolest place on the face of the goddamn earth. Well, yeah, yeah. Because this is happening, this is real. There are a lot of people on the AMA Vintage Days Facebook forum that are very concerned about Mid-Ohio's track policies and stuff that say that you must be wearing a mask anywhere on the property, all 93,000 acres of it. Even if you're indoors, if you're outdoors, if you're making out with a guy in the toilet, whatever, you got to wear a mask and social distance.
But these are same people that are very concerned about the fact that there might be mud.
Again, yes. Okay. So let's just set your mind at ease. If you have not yet attended AMA Vintage Days, you fucking should. I know that this might be a little different than previous years. I like the way Steve.
I thought it was my ice.
Okay, Sleepy made the squeaky noise, and Hoffert looked at his glass like, "What the fuck is going on in there?"
I thought my ice was squeaking.
No, actually, he's just a bourbon ventriloquist. It's so good. It's the sound of quality. So this year, AMA Vintage Days is going to happen. It will be there in all of its glory. You do need to, and I have to stress this, guys, go on fucking line and buy your tickets, all right? Because we don't know exactly what the rules are going to be, whether you're going to be able to buy tickets at the gate. So go to AMA Vintage Days, go to .com. Wow.
Wow. You know we're vaccinated. He's going to the bottom.
What's the proof on this? It's got to be 100, right?
Yeah, we're safe from COVID.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't worried about that. I just want to know. Look, it's important when you buy whiskey.
Yeah.
You want it to be higher proof.
Of course.
So you don't want to pay for water. You want to pay for whiskey.
Best advice ever.
That's pretty good.
It is good.
Wild Turkey over 100 is the
Really
best
good.
thing in the world. This is delicious.
They make great beer.
But that's not just whiskey. There's a little
Granddad
bit more.
114.
That's got something else going on
Yeah,
with it.
let's-
Like
let's-
some carbonate, like it's almost.
It's all over the place, but it's delicious.
But our friend,
Firmly.
our new best friend, and it's going to hit the podcast.
The
in
other
a
Chris
month.
Smith.
The
It
other
almost
Chris
tastes
Smith.
sweet, like
Thank you,
there's-
sir.
Here's to the other Chris Smith.
Good choice.
Fuck this guy.
All I know is, well, look. Now we all know that somewhere on the planet there's another Phil Waters. I've Googled him. Somewhere on the planet there might even be another Nicholas Divitto.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is. Very common Italian name,
I
right?
dated one.
But Chris Smith is a name that you've been taking shots for your entire life.
Right.
Indeed.
At least for sure every December 25th.
Yeah.
Right? Now
Or whenever I walk into your shop.
also true. We don't ever let that die, do we? Okay. Anyway, but so you've got a brethren, you got another person that has lived with the Chris Smith, the mantle, who's carried the mantle of being Chris Smith. And fucking I love that you still giggle when I say Chris Smith. You just have to get just the right bit of Mike Tyson in there. If you get just the right about Mike Tyson, you can get away with a good Chris Smith.
So speaking of this, Chris Smith,
Nick still has to.
it's a shame that there's no mods versus rockers because Chris is rocking the mod hair. Look at this fucking guy.
He needs to be on a goddamn Lambretta.
Quadrophenia.
That is a Quadrophenia haircut if I ever saw one. Yeah, that dude needs to be on a 63 Lambretta hard.
Chicks dig these sideburns.
You come in with those sideburns and somebody gives you 16 mirrors. Yeah. It's just game on. Who do we give these to? That guy. He's got sideburns. Yeah, right on.
At one point, I had my sideburns all the way down to my beard.
They locked in. You did the Lemmy.
Yeah.
Nice. I appreciate a good Lemmy cut. So there's another podcast out there. You guys know there are other podcasts. It's not just this one.
Never heard about it.
Fucking weird, man. So
copycat.
So we fixed the Misfits Broken top 10 list.
Yes, we did.
And they go back in retrospect and they are like, oh, well, we really meant it was the most influential, or we meant it was the most,
oh, you mean you're actually going to have like specific categories?
Oh, no, the fucking horse has long left the barn now.
Well.
So no reason to close that door at the moment. I think we paid enough attention to that. But our friend Pete, our friend who we did the AIM Expo with, Pete, who plays the best ever version of Alice's Restaurant I've ever heard live. And we were in a funeral home, a.k.a. Airbnb.
Right.
A dilapidated, restored funeral home.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah, indeed.
I remember that, yeah.
That dude fucking pulled out his guitar and rocked the living piss out of it.
The whole fucking song.
He did the whole Alice's Restaurant, all the refrains, everything.
I didn't even put it together. So very cool guys.
Amazing.
Really fun to hang out
with. Swiggy and Pete are top notch in my book.
But they're completely fucking wrong with what they said on their thing.
Yeah.
Okay, they're cool, but fuck them.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought that's what they said about us. Fuck them.
Well,
but again,
well, who's right though?
The point is,
are we in a fucking contest now?
They just showed us how wrong they were. That's all they did. Yeah. So anyway,
Smith has notes on this.
Yeah.
Well, again, one of my favorite things about listening to the podcast, listening to the Noko podcast, because you have to listen to the Nokomoto podcast. They did a better job of shitting on us. Truly, John McElfresh, who loves to get shit on. You do. You love
negative feedback.
You paid for it, yeah.
Right. John loves getting negative feedback. He does. He is truly a masochist when it comes to.
He's one of the few that appreciates a proper Cleveland steamer.
I know you're being honest. You're being honest.
Absolutely. And Pete felt very strongly. And so, so we love Pete. Pete was wrong about a lot of things in that, and it's okay, but Pete's been wrong before and he knows it. But one of the things that I thought was really clever or really interesting about Pete's review of us, because, I'm not going to suck the Britain's dick just because everyone else sucks the Britain's dick. That's fine. We're allowed to have an alternative opinion when it comes to something in a category that has no goddamn rules.
And we're right.
And we're right. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So, that motorcycle I just put up on the screen up there,
right?
That's the motorcycle that we said was beautiful, exotic, strange, lovely.
One of the first Undertale exhausts that made everybody wet.
Just very pretty. And so as much as then Pete, our friend Pete, we love Pete. We drank beers on the roof with Pete all night long.
Oh, yeah. We almost fell off the roof.
We actually did almost fall off the roof with Pete and Swiggy all night long. But here's the crazy thing. Right after he got done shitting on us, and he was pretty upset about it.
Oh, right.
But right after he got done, you listen to their podcast, you can hear the anger in his voice. We did him wrong.
Oh, we have to fight him now.
Well, but right after he did that, and he got all done literally throwing shit on top of us hard, then he went on a 1.5 hour diatribe about how this bike is the greatest bike in the goddamn world.
What the hell is that?
It's kind of the same fucking bike with a smaller motor.
Yeah. And it has a worse fairing.
It does have a worse fairing.
Kind of weird.
What is that fucking top thing? Like, it looks...
It's suffering from a little bit of Ducati syndrome.
Well, but like that...
There's an air dam on the windshield. So there's a windshield, and then in case you were looking through the windshield, they put something up you couldn't look through on the other side of the windshield.
It's like an F1 Halo.
Who is this? Super...
Exactly, yeah. It's a Super Veloce MV Agusta, and it's got an 800cc motor, and it's a triple. So it is all those things.
Well,
but
it's a triple, so...
What year did this come out?
Now.
I'm not... Okay.
Brand new.
Okay. Brand new. I'm not familiar with a brand new bike.
Brand new. Yeah. So I guess my point would be, it is interesting that the thing he was the pissed off most about, the pissed off most about was the thing then exactly 45 minutes later, half an hour later, he then proceeded to say literally the best bike in the world.
Which is just like this is
Which
probably
is literally a slightly newer version of the bike we talked about.
And-
That's smaller motor.
And was that the category? The best bike in the world?
They have a segment in their podcast
That category
called,
was Britain is the best Britain ever built.
right. At least
Is
we'll
what
know.
that category would
but
have
in
been.
Pete's,
That narrows it down.
But in Pete's world, in his podcast, they have a thing called Best Bike of the Week, Best Bike in the World this week, and Worst Bike of the World this week.
Okay,
And
here's
that's the thing that they
Okay.
do, and that's fine.
But
and
they
it's
can't
wonderful.
fuck with us too much because the DNA of our bike is fucking spattered all over the fucking mother of this bike.
Yeah.
Like, not only did our bike fuck the mother of this bike, but
Well,
it
yes.
also shot loads all over her. Like,
So I'm going to leave the picture of the bike we chose up there because it's
Yeah.
prettier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. there we go.
100%.
Yeah. It has
This one has a better color scheme.
and this one has lines that make sense. Well, this is the Ago.
Right.
So first of all, the Super Veloce, the Super Leggero, the Super 800, and that's a class that exists now. It's very popular in GP racing and stuff. But this is the only one that is made for Agostini. So around here, Agostini carries a little bit of weight. And Agostini and MV Agusta, they go hand in hand together. And yes, Britain is an amazing fucking story. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Britain for what it is, which is, rocking horse shit, which is like,
It had carbon fiber forks, man.
it had all kinds of cool shit and it was great and it's what it is and that's beautiful and it is a funky, weird, funky bike.
It's very swoopy.
It is all those things, but it's not something that I'm going to be like, okay. And honestly, there is a little bit of, if everybody's going to zig, I got to zag a little. I can't just zig with everybody and just be like, you're right, Toyota to sell. Absolutely the car to fucking have.
let's do this.
Because they sold more of them.
Let's think about
I
that.
challenge everybody to a Passport versus CT90 showdown.
No, but
Anybody who
yeah,
wants to come
yeah.
up against me,
Right.
I challenge you. You want to ride around the world? Let's do it.
But I'm sorry,
you
John.
want to have a sprint? You want to have a race? You want to have anything you want to do
It
on
doesn't
your
have leg
Passport?
shields.
well, here's the
No,
thing.
it has a crash guard that if you took a piece of fucking cardboard and put it there, it would be.
I think
leg shield.
Richard Branson threw one off a roof and still rode it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But let me say this. So either this bike or the one that Noco picked, doesn't matter, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the Britain. You put them all, you're talking performance probably off from each other by points of a second, right?
Yeah,
Like they're
I mean,
all ridiculously
they're all ridiculous,
good
yeah.
bikes, right?
None of them can haul my beer belly, so fuck them all.
No, but check this out. Take all three of those bikes and put them on a fashion runway.
Right.
And let all these fucking like snooty ass fucking fashion people tell me the Britain is not winning.
Oh yes,
There's
it is. Oh yes,
no
it is.
fucking way,
Yes,
dude.
it is.
Look
the
at the
Britain
lines.
is for that type of person.
No, it's
And
not.
the
Who's
type of
the
people who
judge?
like the Britain are the snooty patooties.
No, way, because the Britain
That
was
go to
all about
fashion shows.
performance.
The type of people that like the Britain
Oh, gotcha.
are the snooty patooties that like that kind of thing.
Probably haven't even ridden a bike before. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I
Oh,
get you.
God, that thing is awful.
Again, I'm going to throw it up. I mean, okay, I use the term throw it up lightly.
It's not awful. It's a great story. It's performance wise.
I'm going to vomit it up
But
onto
just
the
look
screen.
at it.
Again, keep in mind, just remember that this was
The blue exhaust looks like a fucking bound up intestine.
Yes, it does.
That looks like
Yes.
somebody's small intestine hanging off the side of the bike.
and remember that this was a period of time.
Period is correct.
This was a menstruation of time when we had. You okay there? Don't die, Steve.
Chest thump.
What killed him? The word menstruation.
Wrong bite.
So there was a thing called.
You
the
are correct. That is the wrong pipe on that bike.
There was a thing called the Battle of the Twins series, and the Battle of the Twins series was basically a way to let Ducati have some clout in the racing world because they were kind of being out-teched in a lot of other things. So they created this race called the BOTS, Battle of the Twins, and it was a way to give big honkin' V-twins. And so yes, Harley Davidson had VR 1000, and there were a lot of bikes that had these V-twin. 1,000 cc's was the rule. Had to be 1,000 cc's and had to be a V-twin. And in some racing leagues, they would let the 1,000 cc V-twins play along with the 600 cc inline fours. That should tell you something. Okay. But in Battle of the Twins, it was like, we're going to create a playground where the V-twins can go out and put asses in seats. Or we're going to give a marketing department something to run with by creating the Battle of the Twins series. And yes, the Britain bike, this bike was built specifically for that part of racing. And
You know they do put the slower kids in with the regular kids now.
well, and there is that thing about like when 4-stroke dirt bikes came out, you could run a much bigger 4-stroke dirt bike CC wise against a 250 two-stroke, right? And there was always like this leveling of the playing field to compensate for different technologies.
Here, if anybody wants to defend this bike and say it's the best, defend that front fender. That's all I have to say. Defend it. Look at that fucking front. It looks like a skin flap. It looks like somebody cut somebody's back off and stapled it to the front of the bike.
And keep in mind that saying anything at all against the Briton is strong fucking heresy.
I don't care.
I mean, I do get it, but the point being that this is extremely hallowed ground. And that's a tough thing. I mean, that's a really, really big deal. And when we think about, and because I was at my peak of, I was riding motorcycles, I was racing motorcycles when the Battle of the Twin Series existed and it was in its heyday, then yeah, it's absolutely
let me ask you this.
I get it. Yeah.
If this was such a groundbreaking, ridiculous bike, which, I mean, it doesn't suck, right?
Right.
It's fine. It's good. We know it rides, whatever.
Yes, fine.
Absolutely.
But why hasn't there been a new, like, I know he died, but
I
I'm
was going
saying,
to say there's a little bit of something
no,
about
I get that.
exactly.
But I'm saying, why hasn't somebody else glommed onto the technology and created something that looks almost kind of like that?
Right.
And gone forward. If it was that great, if it was that groundbreaking, it was the best bike in the world, there'd be 17 Chinese versions of it, 27, other versions.
And we have to acknowledge that the Battle of the Twin Series was a bit of a marketing bone that got thrown to the VTwin culture. Up on the screen right now is Moto Guzzi.
Yeah.
So a Moto Guzzi 1100cc bike that qualified for that racing. And I'm going to tell you something. I love Moto Guzzis. You cut me, I bleed Moto Guzzi. I've built Moto Guzzis from the fucking frame up. I know a lot about Moto Guzzis, but from 1990 to 1997, yes, they had Moto Guzzis in the Battle of the Twins series. And I'm going to call your attention to something. They weren't the high-tech, cutting-edge racing machines that you think they might be, because one, get out. It was a fucking Moto Guzzi.
Right.
And it is literally like polishing a turd to a certain degree. It's like saying, here, check this out. This is from the Italian space program.
Right.
They don't fucking have one
Right.
for a reason, man. Right.
Well, that whole genre of bikes to me
Stay in your
is
fucking
dead
lane.
to me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't give a shit about any of those bikes. I mean,
Right.
anything like that, but I'm not into it.
Yeah.
So I really don't care. And if you tell me an MV Agusta or a Britain or a whatever, a Gixxer 750,
I feel like
Yeah,
we've
that's
just
what I
been
say.
tricked
I mean,
into,
what
we've
do
been
I
tricked
need
into
those bikes for?
paying lip service to the Britain again.
Exactly. Right. That's all it is.
I just like the idea of Italians going to like the space. They'd be like, so we want to go to Mars, right? Yeah. Do they have a wine there? No. Do they have sexy women? No. Cheese? No. Why the fuck
How
do
am I going to eat?
want to go there?
My mama's not coming. How am I going to eat?
There's no sauce. They have no sauce on the Mars.
I'm going to say I totally get it. And look, man, yes, an honorable mention in that category. An honorable mention that I completely agree with in the bonkers, it was a race bike for one day category, or it was a bonkers race bike for a little while, was the VR 1000 from Harley Davidson.
Oh, dude, there's one for sale right now.
Yeah.
For $50,000 with 1 mile on it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Go,
that-
go get it.
Again,
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Right. Because like anything that's Harley Davidson competition grade, it broke on the way to the starting line. Right. So
there is a video of these guys.
I'm not joking. The fucking thing broke on the way to the starting line. I was watching the race.
No, but there's a video of the guys selling it for $50,000, and they supposedly had a buyer, but it had a start.
Right.
And so like they were there and they worked on it for like 3 days, and then it took them like 2 hours, and they finally fired it up. I'm like, see, it runs. We're good.
So they had to build a couple of these. They had to build a couple for homologation.
Yeah.
And so the young lady is sitting on
Yeah.
one of
There
the
you
only
go.
ones, one of the only ones that exists in the world with turn signals and is DOT approved and is legal for street use. But so the VR 1000, I think, is a candidate that is like, okay, if the Britain is wacky and like a Citroen car where it's just things are weird and they don't add up and, it's just, it is
But
what it is.
DS21.
Well,
I
this is
love
the point.
DS21s.
Yes, but what do we know about any DS? So what we know about Citroen, any DS in the world, everything on it is fucking weird. Okay, you're like, okay, how many lug nuts does it have? 3, right?
On the left.
Right. How many spokes are in the steering wheel? 1, right? How do you shift it? Well, you take the avocado and you twist it to the left and you push it in. Like, Citrons are fucking weird cars. I've owned 2 of them. They're bizarro cars. And I love them because they're so fucking weird and they're so exotic and shit like that. And yes, if we were talking about weirdo freak show cars, a Citron DS is one of the most beautiful cars ever. And every time it appears in a James Bond movie, there's a bad guy driving it. I mean, it's guaranteed. Like, whoever shows up in a Citron DS is like the sexiest fucking criminal you've ever met in your life.
$58,000.
$58,000 for 1994 Harley Davidson VR1000.
But he's lovable, like Jaws.
Of course,
like you want to give Jaws a big hug.
You do. Jaws needs a big Jaws from the James Bond series. James Bond is a spy. In case Nick was wondering, there's a spy from Britain. And, one of his adversaries was a gentleman of massive stature who had metal teeth.
And James Bond died after Sean Connery.
He did, just so you know, right? Yeah, the real James Bond died after Sean Connery.
You mean what's his name isn't really James Bond?
Oh, you mean Pierce Brosnan?
I have no idea.
Daniel Day-Lewis or Craig or whatever the fuck.
that
So
guy.
anyway, for the people who are pissed off and everything else, yes, I will give an honorable mention to the VR1000, especially if it's in the orange and black paint scheme where the right side of the motorcycle is orange and the left side of the motorcycle is black.
That's brilliant, though.
Well,
With a
that
white
just
stripe,
plays hell on the announcer.
Well,
So the guy who's the radio announcer is just going to be like, all right, coming up on the inside is going to be, fuck, did he change bikes?
Yeah.
Right,
Well, I
look
just
at
thought-
that. It is completely orange on one side.
And it is completely black on the other
No,
side.
yeah, it's
Right.
perfect. It's like,
Yeah.
when you pass a cop, you can only go that way
Right,
once.
right. Exactly.
And then you come back.
Come
Like,
back
all
the
right, we're
other
looking
way.
for a black sport bike. And then you're like, hey, it's
Nope,
fucking
got
orange.
an
Man, what's up?
filter. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Yeah, exactly. So, so there we go, VR1000. And for people who felt that there needed to be a little bit of Britain in the VR1000, you can get the Buell S1. So there's a Buell S1 that's done with what? Blue exhaust
pipes.
headers. Yay. So you can, tribute John Britton or tribute.
But the Buell the guts are way less cramped and fucked up.
Well, that was a tribute bike anyway. But anyway, I digress. So that was our thing. And Chris, did you have some notes on this? Was that going on there?
So
I'm curious.
I listened to as much as I could. And their humble moderator started out by
I
saying,
listened to every disgusting, sick, disturbing minute 3 times.
there you go. More power to you. Mm-hmm. So he had said that he had just gotten out of the hospital with COVID.
He had COVID
and
like 3 days after getting his vaccine.
Yeah. So I attribute
He
a lot
got it
of
from the vaccine.
So
I don't think so.
I attribute a lot of what he said to a bad case of COVID fog.
COVID delirium?
Yeah. So he was a little interested in a lot of hyperbole there because he said about the Cub, he said, fortunes have been won and lost based on people riding these things across town. Really? What? People have given birth on Honda Cubs. Honda Cub has brought life-saving organs to hospitals.
That may be true.
Yeah, down in South America.
Yeah,
or
but
something
probably not. And then last he said there are entire economies based on the Honda Cub. I thought, oh my God, this guy really is having COVID fog.
Well, but very few of those things are actually true. But one thing that is goddamn true is you cannot open up a goddamn letter in Australia without a Trail 90 or a Trail 110 bringing it to your fucking door because it's a fucking postie bike.
But the
I'm going to hazard that
is
life-saving
trail.
medicines and life-saving all kinds of stuff has been delivered by postie bikes all through Australia
Absolutely, yeah.
for decades.
Which is a Cub.
So my thought was that old Squidward and Ruprecht the monkey boy were having a lot of fun with themselves that we didn't see. And his overused word of the day was homologated. So, okay. Once I've heard it for the 14th time, I said, flip the page in your dictionary there, Charlie.
Well, I'm gonna
had enough
say
of
that.
that.
Getting feisty. Listen,
very feisty. Yeah,
over
very
here.
feisty.
It just begun.
Oh,
he's got
That's only the first sentence.
That was the introduction. That was the prelogue.
carry on.
The prologue.
That wasn't the joke.
Wait, you want to hear a joke?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Mickey Mouse is in the middle of a nasty divorce with Minnie Mouse. Mickey spoke to the judge about a separation, I'm sorry, Mickey, but I can't legally separate you two on the grounds that Minnie is mentally insane, said the judge. Mickey replied, I didn't say she was mentally insane. I said she's fucking goofy.
That is good. I like that.
That's fantastic. Oh my God. That's about the coolest thing in the fucking world right there. Yeah. But I will say this, when it comes to, in the discussion about, our point was this: we are not taking anything away from the Cub or any of its 93 million variants. The point being, it's simply a badge change, right? To take you to any of the 9 million variants, right? So everything from a 50cc to whatever cc's you want to have. But when it comes to doing something a little more intense than getting your ass to your job, I don't want the Cub anymore. I want the Trail 90 or any of its variants. I want the different frame. I want the different tires. And I know that you guys, Swiggy and Pete, took a lot of they had a lot of fun tearing apart the dual range transmission, saying
Which is
it's
so
just
simplistic.
another thing to go wrong. Here's what I can assure you.
Never gone wrong.
It has never gone wrong.
Never gone wrong.
And if you want to suggest that maybe we don't have any experience with this,
I've owned no less than 6 of them.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
and worked on dozens more.
And would you say that you put a normal amount of stress on a motorcycle?
An extreme amount of stress on them.
And
I've seen video of you pulling your child on a sled
Oh, no.
around your backyard in the
John
snow.
was with me when we pulled an actual truck
Oh.
with a Trail 90. No, it might have been my Trail 110 low
110,
range. It was my
110.
Trail 110 with low range.
Yep.
We pulled a legit goddamn truck at Mid-Ohio
Wow.
because of low range.
Yeah.
And you know what? It never accidentally broke. It wasn't something you could accidentally hit with your foot. It wasn't something that would go into gear at the wrong time.
Doesn't pop out.
It doesn't pop out ever.
Well, the comparison between that low range,
Every
that
bike should have
simplistic
that on it.
low range device,
Yeah.
and a CBR 900,
Right.
additional like right angle transmission,
Right.
that's not even a comparison. Those two things aren't even anything like each other.
No, not even close. So I guess ultimately what my statement is I understand that we all have to worship at the altar of Britain. I understand we have to worship at the altar of the Cub. But my point is, at ClevelandMoto Podcast, we don't just step up and take the wafer. We question things, right? Yeah, exactly. We question it and we go like, come on, dude. Like, check that shit out. That shit's wild. That shit's awesome. That right there is what you can do with the Trail 90. Okay? That shit's bonkers.
It doesn't have a front wheel.
Yeah,
Not yet it
it's
doesn't.
not going anywhere.
But
Yeah.
it's also
That's
like
where
I
the
was thinking,
ski goes.
the comparison to me too is like, okay, so you have an F-150,
Sure.
and an F-350.
Sure.
Well, okay, so they're similar.
They're similar. Exactly.
But if you had the choice, what would you get? You'd get a 350 because it can carry a ton and it can do everything an F-150 can do.
Exactly. And is the F-150 the most produced vehicle on planet Earth
It
right
is.
now? It
And
is.
so
It absolutely is.
that's a valid comparison.
Right.
So you have something that has the same functionality
Right.
as it has enhanced functionality.
But
Exactly.
which one is better?
I believe
Yeah.
I believe the F-150 with
Better.
four-wheel drive, or the F-250 with four-wheel drive, or the F-350 with four-wheel drive is better than that Essex-powered F-150 V6 short cab, that I have in front of the building right now.
And
I
it
have a
wasn't-
little bit of authority on that subject too.
And the
Yeah.
question wasn't what is the most economical. It wasn't
No.
what is the most sold or anything. It was what is the best. And we took it as categories because there was no other way to
And
take
of course,
it.
if we wanted to get in line with every motorcycle magazine that's ever been goddamn produced, what would we say? Well, the best motorcycle in the world is the Honda Cub. But isn't that fucking boring?
Yeah.
Didn't that fucking get tired your 275 articles ago? Aren't you sick of picking up whatever the fucking magazine or ADV Rider or whatever the fuck it is and reading another top 10 list that tells you all about the Cub and tells you all about the CB750? I thought we would put our approach on it, which is saying, you know what? Enough of that shit. Let's appreciate going a little bit deeper. Let's not just scratch the surface. We're not doing a podcast for fucking idiots here. We're doing a podcast for people who aren't afraid to wrench on their bike or work on their bike or whatever.
Or have
Simple
interest
point.
in
But,
that.
but also, it's a matter of economy.
Okay.
So you could look at cars.
Right.
Is a Model T or whatever. Okay, is a Camry better than a Bugatti?
Right.
Well, no. They sell a lot more Camrys because it's utilitarian. People can afford it.
Right.
I mean,
It lasts.
more people can use it for what they do in everyday life. But
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe like a Bugatti's not the best,
Of course not.
thing, but maybe some type of 4-wheel drive.
Whatever.
Crossover or something, or a high ace van, which I would say is the best vehicle in the whole world. But I mean, something
Because
like that.
it can do something that a Toyota Hilux can do, but now bring 7 of your friends. Right?
Right.
So here's a question for you. Do you have a Honda Passport 70?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had a Passport 70?
I've never owned one,
But we've done a
I've
lot
worked
of
on
fucking
and
around with
ridden,
them, right?
dozens of them.
Right. So we have a certain amount of experience with Passport 70s around this table.
I have 5 of them.
Exactly. So we know.
But you also have a Simba.
Now, but hold on a second.
Oh.
Yeah, let's take this just one small step further. Let's take it away from being the generic, what something would get published in Cycle World magazine, perhaps. Raise your hand at this table if you would rather have the Honda Cub, Super Cub 70 than a Trail 110. Now raise your hand if you'd rather have a Trail 110 than a Cub 70. Right. Okay. So I'd rather have a Trail 110 than a Cub or Super Cub 70. As much as I love that bike, if I had to take my choice between that bike and its brother, the Trail 125, I'm probably going to choose the Trail 125.
But you will be getting one soon enough.
That bike is a Super Cub, which is a 125.
This is my point.
Right.
Fuel injection.
What was the?
But that bike versus a Trail 125 that is a fuel injected.
Or the Hunter Cub or whatever it's called.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think we can discount this.
Right.
What was the largest capacity that a classic Super Cub came in? Was it 110 or was it 90?
90.
90?
Yeah.
Yeah.
90.
Well, if we're talking
in
with,
this country. In this country.
Well, in the
with
world.
leading link suspension.
No,
not necessarily.
No, because we can go telescopic, because even in telescopic suspension for a Cub or a Super Cub, I don't think in our country we did see anything over 90 cc's.
We didn't see any telescopic suspension until the Simba.
So the Simba came through, which is another. That's again,
Right.
Simba SYM Sanyang Motor Company is not a part of Honda. That is its own company.
Which the Simba
Yeah.
is
110.
110.
Yep. It's a 110.
Has as much power as that 125.
It absolutely does. Yep. Guaranteed. Right. And it's not a Honda. It is in the shape of
It
a
looks
Super
exactly
Cub.
like a Super Cub. It's got 4-speed transmission.
As we found out the hard way, though, the parts off the Super Cub don't fit on the Simba.
No.
They are enough different that there is not cross-brand homogeny.
I did get a basket to fit, though.
What's that?
I did get the front basket to fit.
Yeah, but that took a little bit of
did.
engineering.
It
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Does a Simba look more like this
Yeah.
or more like a classic Cub?
No,
Like a
classic.
classic.
Classic?
Yeah, more
It's
like
a
a classic
spit
Cub.
image of the classic Cub, yeah.
Except for a telescopic front fork.
Right.
And everything else. Right.
And nothing fits in that stupid, the stupid speedometer that sticks out like on an extra speedometer. It's like 2 stacks.
It is literally 2 speedometers put together. So when you look at a Simba, so these are Simbas. We're going to pull up the Simbas.
Okay.
So now you can understand that a Simba, 110 cc's, is even available in colors that are very much akin to a Honda. So you see, that's a Honda. I mean, sorry, this is a Simba. See the Simba?
So I think it's so hilarious
See that?
because a
that's
Simba,
a Honda. Okay,
Cub.
so
Oh, yeah.
right, and see that? That's a Simba, right?
Yep.
So that's a Simba. See that? That's a Simba parked next to a Honda.
Yep.
Right, bonus points because it's parked next to a Bajaj. All right, so now we can see that the Simba 100. So the Simba 100 is this bike that is absolutely a clone of a Honda Cub. Yeah, we know that. No shit. They called it Simba, for fuck's sake. Come on, get with the program. But that being said, I would still rather have Did that just land? Did that just land?
Yeah.
Did it really just land?
Yes.
Wow.
All the years of hearing Simba,
You
I
do smoke
never
weed.
fucking put it together, dude.
Lion King? You didn't get the whole Lion King thing?
Didn't. Right now, man. Right now. Holy shit.
And what I would like to say is that, yes, they did mention quite frequently, Pete mentioned, he was like, yeah, the chain is completely enclosed. It is maintenance free, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is not maintenance free. It is
It's
enclosed.
not oiled.
It's not oiled.
Yeah,
It's not
I wondered
visible.
about
It's not in a bath of oil.
Unless your seal is leaking and it's dripping on the gear,
It
it's
is
not oiled.
All it is just a regular chain put in a plastic or semi-plastic metal housing. That's all it is.
And bump that chain case one time, and then try to ever get it straightened out so it does not rub against the chain.
Raise your hand if you have taken the chain case off of a Honda variant Cub. Yes, I have done it many fucking
As soon
times.
as it gets bent, it
Mine
scrapes
came
the
that
whole
way.
time.
Yours came that way. Exactly. Yeah, I can tell you, having owned many of them, that is one of the first upgrades that you do is you get rid of that fucking chain case.
Take at least the bottom off.
Right. And because it makes it really fucking hard to adjust the chain too. So they put a little hole in it so you could adjust the chain. And honestly,
And to oil the chain too.
Yes.
I mean, you have to
I'm
oil
gonna
it
tell
through
you,
the hole.
I'm going to tell you, putting plastic or putting metal around something does not mean you don't have to maintain it anymore. It just means it'll get neglected harder. The worst thing that anybody ever did to a hood under a car was put another hood under it. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't know you're supposed to change the oil. I opened the hood. There was another hood, so I fucked off.
I'm
right?
still impressed that Sim trolled fucking Honda with the Simba thing. Like, that's fucking great, man.
Yeah, Sanyang Motor Company, baby. Sanyang Motor Company. And they do get a lot of points because Steve and I have had a bunch of those, and we do love them. I mean, we'll be the first
love
to tell you.
Sims.
I fucking love a Sanyang. Ceramic lined piston. Oh. A ceramic lined cylinder. Let's be honest.
The coefficient of friction
Yeah.
with the piston is like 0.2 compared to like 8 or something. So it's extremely low.
Yeah.
And they put out a ton of horsepower. Like the RV250s are batting like way over their
weight. Yeah. They are really
punching way over
their weight. And Dustin, Shane, and I took them on the Dragon, and it was hilarious when we were riding these SYM 100s, and we're riding these things, and we are getting around dudes on sport bikes on the Dragon. And they just pull. They fucking go, man. I can't say anything bad about a Simba 100 because the Simba 100 is legitimately like, it ain't as sexy as that. Like, it's like, this thing is like a fucking kick-ass, super sexy thing.
Well, especially with that fucking seat cover.
Well,
Look
a Sim, I just say SYM, but a SYM 100 is literally like, okay, it's enough.
Right.
Yeah. Did you put enough on there? Yeah, we put enough on there.
Yeah.
Did you make it? Yeah, we made it.
They're bardigs in your ass, though. That's the only bad thing about it.
Okay, if you're an American-sized human being and you look up at that screen, see the bar, the grab rail behind the seat. First of all, that seat is an insult. That seat is an insult. You go through that seat in 1 second. Like, you might as well just take the fucking seat off. But they put a bar that's welded onto that fucking parcel carrier. And you hit a bump one time, and you will have a fucking busted coccyx. Your spine is going to shatter the first time you hit a fucking bump on that. And then you're like, it's okay, I'll just get the long seat mod. And you spend like $300 for the bench seat, which is absurd. But you buy it, and you put the bench seat on there, and you realize you got to do surgery on that bike. There is no way to make the bench seat latch. It was truly a solution to a problem nobody ever thought of because everybody in Taiwan went, what are you talking about? It's fucking perfect the way it is. Why do you want to change it?
Yeah, they're 5 feet tall.
Stupid
And
round-eyed
$120.
idiots.
Or 100.
Yeah, they have no sympathy for us.
They're all
None.
3 stones.
And that 125 is the same way. I mean, it's better.
Yeah.
You could sit on it, but you have
Yeah.
to sit at the extreme back of the seat.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly. You do. You sit way back.
long-legged guys.
It's
No,
true.
I have very short legs, and I have to sit at the back of the seat on mine.
So there you go. Chris, any other commentary on Nokomoto, Pete, and Swiggy?
No, I
okay.
enough of Squidward.
The one thing I did like what they said was the XR, the Harley XR 750.
Yeah, the flat tracker.
That is a nice bike. That bike
Honestly,
is really nice. I really do like that
I
bike.
just looked at one today online for $7,200, and it's fucking nice, man.
Throw it up there.
Yeah, we'll pull it up there. So John, tell them about Portland.
Portland, we went into, I forget what that was called.
Whorehouse.
No.
It was the pregame.
Yeah.
It was the pregame.
It was the pregame before the show, and it was a little get together, and we got lucky, and we had some special little passes, and we got in there. So we got to go into the bullpen, and it was a lot of the Harley racers. And so they had an original, and then they had a restored Harley XR750.
Boy, they had every possible version of an XR flat tracker. It was a whole tribute to flat tracking. And it was the Go Fast Turn Left, the documentary, all about like the
That's it.
Yeah, it was about the documentary of flat tracking. A beautiful piece of work, a beautiful film. It just really made you feel good. And at the end, here's the weird thing. If you didn't even know what fucking flat tracking was, if you had no idea, if you walked into this fucking tent and you had the experience that we had, by the end of it, you'd be like straight up legit, having respect for flat tracking, having respect for the guys who are literally hammering out metal fucking shoes. Right? Because they did such a beautiful job of presentation. Harley Davidson did. Now I'm good to go. And honestly, it was great to literally be, as we were, standing next to straight up racing machines with racing pedigree and heritage and learning about that aspect. And flat tracking is this crazy, cool,
no brakes
American thing. Yeah.
Well, Bill, can you click on that? It says a Canadian
Yes.
XR750.
Absolutely.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. So this is.
I'm saying those are beautiful bikes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not, I'm telling you guys, these XRs, the flat trackers, and there's a company called Storts, and look up Storts, really fun. Storts has done flat track modification for ages. And if you look them up, take some time and type in Storts. And what I think you'll find is that you can get some pretty badass shit to make a Sportster, right? Into a beautiful bike. And Harley has not missed the ticket on this.
I'm barely picking you up in my
That's
headphones.
because his face
I'm
is...
sorry. I'm trying to type at the same time. All right. Look at the fucking screen. All right. So now what we got is we have Storts, STORZ for our Canadian listeners. Okay. Storts has done their version or their tracker version of Sportsters forever, and they're all pretty. I don't think they made a bad one.
Do you want to see the greatest Mid-Ohio fucking pit bike ever?
Yes.
Look up Sunday Motorcycles.
Sunday Motorcycles. All right. I'm on it.
Sunday Motorcycles. They are 130cc Grom style bikes.
Yeah.
That happen
but
to
they're
be
trackers.
flat trackers.
Oh, yes.
They're fucking dope, dude.
I just got a little tiny boner for this little tiny
And
bike.
they come with no front brakes, no nothing. They're made to fucking flat
That's
track.
a tracker. Oh, that's a tracker. Proper tracker. And you remember this year, guys, what do we know about this year in Mid-Ohio? Mid-Ohio's
That is happening.
Barrel
gonna be,
racing.
Mid-Ohio's going to be what? On any Sunday. It's going to be, that's the theme. It's the theme of Mid-Ohio this year is on any Sunday.
What does that mean?
What's
Watch
that
the
mean?
movie.
What that means is
the
you should
movie.
first of
We
all
have to
watch
have a
the
movie. We have to have a movie night.
Is that a movie?
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
Nick?
What?
Nick.
Nick, I'm
is
with
fired.
you. I've never seen
Please
it.
What's
Get
on
in-
Sunday?
get in your
I watch
vehicle.
F1 races on Sunday. What's on Sunday?
I watch
that's like-
MotoGP, motherfucker.
No, he's just pulling,
No.
he's pulling our leg.
What happens on any Sunday? What takes place?
Racing,
Somebody
motherfucker.
races.
Racing, right. It's one of the greatest racing.
Win on Sunday, win on Monday. I know that.
Okay.
But
No, sell
So-
on Monday.
yeah, sell on Monday.
Yeah.
Win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
Right.
So on any Sunday, Mert Law will. It's all about Steve McQueen, Mert Law, Malcolm Smith, David Aldana, the guy with the skeleton leathers. That's probably how you remember him.
Yep.
But anyway, this movie is brilliant. Built on a budget of $313,000 way back in year of our Lord, 1972. Got an Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature.
I was
etc.
one and saw it in the theater.
It's called On Any Sunday.
Serious?
Any
Okay.
Sunday.
You seriously have never
I have
heard?
never seen it. Nope.
I've never seen it.
No.
When do you
I've
want to
never
watch
seen
it?
it.
I want to be there when
Cinch,
you
I've
watch
never
it.
seen it.
I will.
Are you
I'll make
serious?
time in my life.
I'll make sure that you're there when I watch it.
Dude, I am completely flabbergasted.
Okay, but
like,
we have a projector.
Yeah.
So we can do movie night.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
we should
Let's
do movie
it.
night.
Yeah.
We should do movie night. Make it really fucking loud.
Like all the stupid shit I said about mechanical shit that
Right.
you guys know way more about it
Right.
than me.
Right.
I feel vindicated just because I've seen this movie and you haven't. like this.
Yeah, not joking.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it as excruciatingly clear to you as I can, is that having AMA Vintage Days being sponsored by On Any Sunday, or having it be the feature of the thing, like the thrust or the impetus behind it, is a big thing to me because I grew up with that shit. And to me, and it turns out he's on this motorcycle called a Yamaha. They make pianos. Like that's no shit. That's part of the movie. And I'm not... I just absolutely am going to tell you, I think that this is one of the best ways that you can spend a couple of hours.
Well, on top of that,
2 hours.
as a video guy for a living, this movie created what became motorcycle videos later.
Absolutely.
Like all the
Undoubtedly.
80s, the dirt bike videos, the 90s with the stunt bike stuff, all that, you can base every one of those videos roots to this movie.
Yep, absolutely.
100%.
And it's fun because it's shenanigans, it's hijinks, it's shit on fire. Like, I'm going to make it very clear.
But they also they actually hit the heart of what motorcycle racing is. Like it wasn't so much. Like most of the things at the time were promo pieces trying to sell a motorcycle or do something.
Right.
This was like, this is why these people like give up their bodies to this shit. And
talking about Malcolm Smith, and because he's like, he's in it, and it's really cool watching, what Malcolm did and everything. Yep. So
the whole.
I completely agree. I absolutely agree. And
I'm correct in that, right? That's if I'm remembering right.
No, you're right. And the whole idea behind the On Any Sunday thing, like everything that On Any Sunday is literally just, it's us at Vintage Days. I have been reliving On Any Sunday every fucking year of my life for 20 some years.
I cannot wait to rock that.
I mean, look at that. That is a chubby dude. That is a full-size American guy on a fucking 50cc bike.
He could be part of our podcast.
And again, if that guy's not in Cleveland Moto already, I don't know. Right? But that's
and here's freaking Devo coming on.
Okay, this is On Any Sunday. Of course, we're probably going to get demonetized or whatever, copyright infringement.
Nah, it's too small. It's fine.
Okay, anyway. But this is the point. The point is, yeah, you guys, you got to watch this.
Steve
Just
McQueen?
fucking watch it. Just watch it. Just watch it. It's not.
Is that it?
Yes. Yes. Yes to all of your answer. Everything you say is that, and the answer is yes.
Helmets were optional.
Right. Yes. By all means. So
Abe Vigoda was even in it.
Abe Vigoda was in it. Yep, that's right. Yep.
This is when they unleash kids. They're like, "You've never ridden a motorcycle? Go for it, dude!"
Right. That kid has the look of sheer terror.
Yeah.
Look
All
at
right.
the Wheelie King.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a child. Anyway.
Why the little dude?
He crashed.
So anyway, we'll pull away from that right now. So bonus
What
points.
is that?
What is that? That's a Harley Davidson FL.
That's Smedley's tonight.
That's an electric light right now. That's happening in front of Smedley's.
That's not what I was referring to.
Right. That's going on right this minute. Speedster getting pulled over by the cop. That is the only chance that cop ever had to catch that Speedster. Anyway, 2-stroke power. There's a 200cc Yamaha.
Yep.
Right. So here we go. Anybody at the table know who Harvey Mushman was?
Nah.
Anyone? Anyone know who Harvey Mushman?
Heard of him?
Harvey Mushman is very important to motorcycling because Harvey Mushman entered a large number of races in the 60s and 70s. A large number. And Harvey would show up at these races and get a lot of attention because that was the official sneaking into the paddock name of Steve McQueen. So Steve McQueen would enter these races as Harvey Mushman so he could participate in the race without being fucking flogged by his fans and being like overrun by motherfuckers. So yeah, Harvey Mushman, that's Steve McQueen. So watch On Any Sunday. If you haven't watched it yet, shame on you. And also if you haven't seen The Princess Bride yet, we probably can't hang out. But again, go ahead.
I've seen The Princess Bride.
Oh, well done. Oh, way to go. Yeah.
Have you seen Bullet?
So it's going to be any given Sunday on any Sunday, and then Lion King, then Bullet.
Nope, we're just going to watch On Any Given Sunday because honestly, if we turn this into a movie marathon, we're not going to survive. One and done.
Nick needs to be introduced to Behind the Green Door as well.
Oh, that's another good one. Yeah, exactly.
He's never seen that.
Do you know where
one.
the term deep throat comes from?
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we throw Caligula in there?
You shouldn't throw Caligula in anywhere.
All right, you guys are saying a lot of words.
Yeah, we're saying a lot of words.
Some of them mean something to me.
Did anybody?
How about Airplane? Did you ever see Airplane?
Yes, I've seen Airplane.
Do you like gladiator movies?
Surely you're not serious, and don't call me
Have you
Shirley.
ever seen a grown man naked?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I strike that. We should. I mean, again,
So-
fucking let it roll in the background. That
Hey.
shit's awesome.
Do you remember Harley Davidson?
Yeah. Hold on. Do you mean the motorcycle company or the electric vehicles company?
The motorcycle company that was
Excuse
trying
me.
to
How
sell
long will you
them.
be talking about Harleys? Because I want to go smoke a cigarette while you're talking about the Harleys.
That's fine.
Good idea. This would be a great opportunity for you to smoke a cigarette.
I'm going to step outside for a
That's
little while.
John McElfresh's way of saying not one fuck given.
Yep, none.
Right. He checked. He's all out of fucks. Yeah.
So Harley,
Yep.
that went and put all they had the Pan America, which was coming out,
Right. Yeah.
which ended up, according to all accords, is a fucking awesome bike.
Sure.
100%.
Okay.
Everybody loves the thing. They said they can't believe
I
they
heard. I
I don't know how
I-
a Honda sedan can drive a bike, but okay.
Well, and I did read read a review that said it was better than Cats.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, seriously. Like all the guys on the
Theater
Baldy
review.
and all these other people, all these like serious adventure dudes took the bike and they say that the new Pan America is the shit. It's really good. They nailed it. They're not trying to pretend anything, whatever. But besides that, Harley sent Ewan and fucking Charlie across the fucking South American desert on these fucking bikes, spent all their budget on all this stuff, and guess what? They're breaking it off into its own motorcycle company. It's not even going to be Harley Davidson anymore.
Whoa. I mean, Buell?
No. So the Livewire is now Livewire Motorcycles.
Is it going to be sold? Is it going to be sold at Buell dealers?
I don't know.
Yeah. There you go.
I just wanted to check.
What's a Buell dealer?
Exactly.
So now, wait. So since I'm a motorcycle dealership and I sell electric motorcycles,
Right.
a lot of them,
You could probably get Livewire.
I'm pretty high up on the food chain as far as places that sell electric motorcycles east of the Mississippi.
Right.
I wonder if I could become a Livewire dealership.
You might have to buy 30 Harleys, though.
No,
And
or would I have to buy
t-shirts.
30 Harleys, or would I have to buy 30 Livewires?
Well, to get the 30 Harley, I don't know. I'm just assuming. That
I
to
did
get
read
the
their
30
their press release, and it doesn't seem like these bikes are going to be available to non-Harley Davidson dealers.
That's kind of what I was thinking, too.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
kind of feeling that way, right?
Well, but you're going to need a huge room in the back to hide any used bike.
Yeah, maybe that might be true. I think there's something to be said for that.
But why would they not address the fact that they had the opportunity to fucking showcase their adventure bike that is actually really good?
Yeah.
And instead they pumped out some like not production bike bullshit to these dudes and got all the press and everything, and now they're like, yeah, we're not even doing that company.
I say
Because
until
it's
we
all like
ride this bike, we need to be the judge of whether or not this bike is good. Because
the Pan America? No,
no, I
all
don't
of
care
the
what
above.
anybody says.
No,
it's
the Pan America is not. They had
Well, until I've ridden one. It's vaporware.
okay, that's fine. But they had like there's guys there that like are super respected that like they've shit on bikes like at the press conference when the people asked them about the bike, they're like, this thing sucks. These guys are like, this bike is fucking sick.
Right.
Like it is sick.
Yeah,
And it's like the weight came in at the right thing.
Right.
The torque is ridiculous.
Right.
The suspension, it's active suspension, electronic suspension, where
Wow.
it doesn't matter if you have your wife or your boyfriend or whatever and 1,000 pounds of luggage.
Right.
You always have 30 degrees of sag.
right.
The suspension adjusts so it always has 30 degrees of sag.
Okay.
your wife has 30 degrees of sag.
No, she's younger. She's,
Eventually,
I don't deserve my wife. She has no sag. I take up all the slack.
you're literally all the sag in the relationship. But okay, so yes, I have read everything, of course, but I don't honestly. Okay,
So it's got a V-twin?
yes,
but designed from the ground up.
right.
By
To
who?
be-
Not
by
by Harley
Harley.
engineers.
It is, yes.
No, did they bring somebody in to do it? Because
Yes.
they haven't.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be able to figure
Yes.
out an
Is it
engine that they've
air-cooled?
been building for like 100 years.
No, it's water cooled. There's no fins on the.
There's no fins at all on the motor.
none, no.
Okay, yeah.
And they said and the cam, like it's a variable cam,
Right.
controlled at the top. The whole thing.
Oh,
it's-
this is seriously 1980s Honda technology.
Holy crap.
Yeah. This thing is legit 80s Honda technology.
Do they have their own like CVCC acronym?
Yes, they do.
RVCC
Exactly.
acronym.
RFPC, right? Exactly. Yeah.
It's not
something about swirls in the combustion chamber.
Yeah, it's not VTech. Don't even fucking bring it up.
No, it's HD Tech. It's HD Tech. It's HD Tech. And, it has that elusive ride height adjustable suspension that BMW had a long time ago.
No, that every Cadillac has it, that you see with the ass end dragging all the way down the street.
Or Citroen, for that matter.
Yes.
Different topic, but I have to ask you guys, have you guys seen the trend of squatted trucks?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
It's when somebody buys a lift kit and sells the back half to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the truck fucking is driving like this.
You can't see anything.
No.
It's the Florida squat or something.
It
like
is.
that,
It's exactly right.
Unbelievable.
It is the hipster equivalent of trying to eat through your asshole because you want to do things differently. Yes. Yes. I know that a lift kit is supposed to go on all four corners.
Right. Fuck that.
But fuck that. I'm going to do one just on the left side.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do a lift kit. So instead of a squat, I'll have a lean.
That would be
Oh,
freaking
dude.
sweet.
Lean.
Yeah, lean and truck.
And then you
right?
could drink lean while driving your lean.
And then we could have the left tires tucked up into the fenders like they do on those cars that have the weird stance.
The only car that ever looked good in a squat, I thought, was
Yeah.
Kevin Moore's business coupe.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That thing looked really good. Like
that's
that.
a gasser, though.
that's a
not-
gasser.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
gasser.
gasser's a gasser. That's not
But
a
a
fucking
pickup truck is.
I still think that gassers are crazy because you're going to run over children. You can't fucking see them.
What's a gasser?
A gasser isn't.
But they're worth 70 points.
So back in the 50s, they used to race cars, and sometimes to race the cars and make the cars get better traction, they'd put big chunkin' tires on the back. Yeah. But then they realized that if they put big chunkin' tires on the back, they'd get better weight distribution or better power to the back wheels if they raised the front wheels up. Okay. So they take their suspension and raise the front of the car up with the little tiny wheels in the front.
I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
And they had like straight axles in the
Yeah,
front
straight- it
and
was-
stuff because
exactly.
it wasn't. You didn't have
It's
to
just
do
for
much
going down a
steering,
quarter
yeah.
mile.
Right,
Quarter mile at a time.
Yeah, this was not driving around, maybe cruising, but you're all looking to.
No, but I've heard hipsters are going to race those at Mid-Ohio next year.
No, perfect.
Oh.
Yeah, they're going to race right after the baggers. I'm laughing, but you're like going, shit. Yeah, they could probably do
but
that.
dude, the whole
Yeah.
bagger racing thing. So they like have you
I
kept
watched
up
the
on
shit
it?
out of that.
It's
Yeah.
interesting and it's
Yeah,
fun.
I watched the shit out of it.
But like it's like the beginning.
But
of
again, it's eating with your asshole.
it is. It's like F1. These guys are like, oh, okay, a bagger, no
It's like
problem.
F1.
How is it like F1?
It's not like F1.
No, the bagger thing, it is 100%. It's supposed to be baggers, right?
Right.
These dudes took baggers. They have fucking like the most high-end fucking sport bike forks on
Oh, yeah.
them.
Yeah.
All the bags are carbon fiber
Right.
like out things that they
Yeah.
just slapped on there. They're also raised 9 inches. The rear sets are from a fucking sport bike.
No, dude, I argue. It's not Formula One. It's NASCAR.
Okay,
Because
okay.
you can't buy a rear-wheel drive V8 Toyota.
Right.
And yet
You're
there's
right.
one turning left every fucking
Right.
Sunday.
Like
and,
there's
you know,
nothing bagger
yeah.
about these except for 1.9 ounce carbon fiber bags that are on the back and the front fairings that are like there's nothing in them. It's just fucking there.
I love watching it, but I also like to watch fat guys fall downstairs.
Right, but I do like the fact that Harley was like, "This is going to be our shit." And
It was totally
like,
their shit.
"Fuck
Right.
you."
They're like, okay, here, by the way, we're going to stop all of our racing programs.
right, except
baggers. And then Indian went,
oh,
okay, we can beat you at that too.
yeah, we'll kick the shit out of you.
We'll just use one of our stock bikes.
That's exactly right. Hold on. Did you bring a Chieftain? Did somebody ride here? Did anybody ride here? Okay, get the plates off that fucker and put some tape on that.
You know what would be
headlight.
awesome?
Yeah.
You know what would be fucking awesome is like if they, like, because Indian did win.
Yes.
But like when they pulled into the
Handily.
thing, if they fucking hit the electric windscreen and it went.
Yeah, probably. I can imagine the prep session, like going through tech, because I've gone through tech a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to take the side stand off. And the guy at Indian's like, I don't think we do. Can we just tape it up instead? Because I've gone to all kinds of different levels of racing where you're like, in tech, they're like, well, you got to take the headlight out. And people are like, can I just tape it? Because you're so lazy. I rode a bike to a race one time with a sidecar on it. So I rode a bike to a race with a sidecar on it.
Can I just tape it?
I took the sidecar off. We have witnesses. I took the sidecar off of the bike. I took the sidecar off the bike and raced. Now, I didn't win. I took like second place. But I then later put the sidecar back on the bike and went back to the town for the drinking party afterwards. So like I showed up on a bike with a sidecar, fully functioning turn signals and everything. took the sidecar off, somehow cheated my way through tech, got on the racetrack, raced to second place or something like that, and then fucked off back, put the sidecar back on, put all my gear in the sidecar, and fucked off back to town.
So speaking of sidecars,
Yeah.
so there's Chinese guys have gotten into Grom sidecars, right?
Okay, yeah, sure. Why not?
They're fairly cheap.
Yeah.
That would be good at Mid-Ohio for a cooler.
Oh, the Grim sidecars?
Yeah.
The Grim sidecars. There is...
Pull it up.
Oh, look.
Come on.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you, the word search on this should literally be bad decision, small sidecar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It should be China. I'm literally going to do the worst. I'm going to do Chinese motorcycle mini sidecar. Okay. And now this is if you do this, I hate you and I don't ever want you to come to my shop ever, because there are no shortage on Alibaba and whatever and Bang Bad and all this other shit. Like there's every kind of fucking version of a monkey bike thing, horrible. There's many bad ones, but there is one good Grom sidecar. So there is a very good Grom sidecar, and
it's like an off-roady looking thing.
Yeah, and I was checking it out, and I was like, because there are these Chinese fling poo things, right?
Yeah.
And these Chinese fling poo things are just a bad fucking idea because they're made of like velvedium, right? So you guys know about velvedium?
Oh, they're terrible.
It's a Chinese grade of metallurgy, and velvedium is like, it's soft. It's not real. It's not hard at all.
And smooth.
It's
Off-road.
smooth.
Just look up off-road sidecar Grom.
Like Manscaped.
We have many coming up.
It's between mercury. It's between mercury and lead.
It is between mercury and lead. Yes, exactly.
No, it's between Mercury and Uranus.
Yeah, that's it. It has the Rockwell hardness of cheese, right? So yes, there are many different Grom sidecar kits.
I'm just thinking that would be perfect for a fucking cooler.
Of course it is. Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, that's kind of what it's built for. It's
not built for people.
It's built for coolers and dogs. Yeah. But you know that what's going to get put into it is that kid. Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
He's going to need a bigger helmet.
Right? So what we know for a fact is that everybody's going to do the same thing, right? Every fucking Grom with a sidecar is
I love that sidecar.
I do too.
The one that looks like a sport bike.
The one that literally is a Ducati with a sport bike sidecar with a Dachshund in it. With a Dockel. Yeah. So, I mean, that's cool. But this is what's going to happen, okay?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a couple of guys drinking way too much, passing through your campsite at 26 miles per hour, sideways and drunk.
It's a bike that costs $10,000 and tops out at 72 miles per hour
on the salt flats, and it will win that. It'll win the trophy for its best in class. And actually, we did find it right here. That's the Death Dealer 2 scooter cycle with sidecar from Mad Bixby. So Mad Bixby Motors, there you have it. It's been done. There you go. Stop China. Quit building these. All right.
My sleigh.
What's that?
Pimp my sleigh.
Dude, Pimp My Sleigh. I collected all the Christmas beers and put them in the front cooler.
Hell yeah.
So the front refrigerator has all the Christmas beers in it right now.
I think we better get busy between now and July.
Fucking Christmas in July, bitch. Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, Groms with sidecars, monkey bikes with sidecars. Look, America has a fascination with shrinking shit and giving it to old white men.
Oh, look at the little VW bus sidecar.
So that thing has been photographed.
It's only this big, though.
Yeah, it's up there in the shelf.
Yeah, exactly. It fits one G.I. Joe.
It's attached to a Coleman C200.
Yeah,
It's attached to a Coleman C200.
Phil bought one, and it was the same thing he got before, but it was a straw taped to the bottom.
Exactly. I have had so many phone calls. There's one picture of a Lambretta scooter with a Volkswagen sidecar that has hit the internet with wild abandon. It has reached everybody. It has gone as viral as anything's ever gone viral in its life.
Oh, yeah.
And this picture has caused me no less than 3,000 phone calls. This picture is why, and it's a Lambretta Series 2 with this fiberglass Volkswagen transporter body next
like
to
a
it.
30 window.
It is a Safari, right? Yeah. It's a Safari with a canvas top. And this fucking picture, this guy who built this, if I ever see him, if I'm ever at a scooter rally in England and I see this fart knocker rolling around, I'm going to walk up and smack him right in the fucking face because his genius creation has caused me 9,000 phone calls about where do I buy that?
He's getting a sack tap.
Where do I buy that?
He's like, what did I do? And like,
Right.
Fuck you, asshole.
And I don't know what company it is that's molding these fucking things up. And with the power of the goddamn internet,
Pretty good.
by the power of Grayskull, somebody on the internet tell me where I can buy the mold or the kit to make a fucking Volkswagen Type 2.
You need that. That's something that you need.
No, I don't need it. It's been the bane of my goddamn existence for about 15 fucking years. I'm sick of hearing about the shit. And again, and there's the other one that turns into a boat, and I'm sick of hearing about that too. And you know what? Fuck it, man. Do you have nothing better to do than tell me about shit that has been, hey, you know what? I saw a Farside article once that said Vesperados. It was really cute. It was like cowboys riding Vespas, and it was Vesperados. You ever heard that Vesperados thing? You know what?
Yeah.
Tell that to a guy who runs a scooter shop. He'll kick you in the dick.
Yeah. There's like 37 clubs that are called the Vesperados.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Fuck
how about that?
Right. Yeah. There is shit that is just, it's, yeah, you know what? You're right.
Overdone.
You're right. Nobody ever thought of that before, you creative fucking master.
Merry
Unbelievable.
Christmas.
You're a fucking goddamn cunning linguist. Yeah.
Dude, I came up with this sick idea. It's going to be huge. I'm going to call a computer company Apple.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yep. Everything. So you know what I can tell you about sidecars? Here's what I can tell you about sidecars. Usually attached to an underloved, overweight white guy. Okay, now prove me wrong. I'm going to give Nokomoto the chance to prove me wrong.
I resemble that.
Totally. The proof is sitting at the fucking table with you. Because you know what?
I love you.
I'm going to assure you,
Mrs. Hoff loves you.
especially sidecars on small vehicles. So like sidecars, older, weirder sidecars. And if you've got a sidecar and a Vespa, you probably don't have the genitals you were born with.
Whoa, okay.
Well, I was gonna ask Hoff, should you change it to gender fluid?
Come on.
Your motorcycle. Your
A
fucking
trans Alp.
yeah, right.
Gender fluid Alp.
Change it to the
Really?
gender fluid Alp.
Come on.
We just call it the Eddie Izzard around here. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just the Eddie Izzard. Your Trans Alp is now the Eddie Izzard. Right.
I did buy a motorcycle this week, though.
What?
Well, I don't know
Did
if
you
I would
really?
call it that.
Did you
A
really?
motorized vehicle.
Now, wait a
How
second.
many wheels does it
You
have?
say that you bought a motor.
2. It only has 2.
Okay, fair
Right
enough.
now.
Attached. There's only 2 attached
Oh,
to it
wait a
right
second.
now.
Hold on. Did you buy the left half of a Prius? What the fuck, man?
Maybe the front half.
Okay, I'm listening. Yep.
So I don't have the Facebooks, but Uncle Mac does. So
Uncle Mac. That's what his kids call me.
and so I don't know, I just went on there looking at, and somebody was selling a quad with a bad rear end. So I figured that's perfect for me.
So this is a 1980s.
Does it have a leaky Janus?
Well, it was in the
hey,
it was
hey,
looking
hey,
for love
hey.
section in Craigslist.
It was in the Missed Encounters?
Yeah, missed encounters.
I'm sorry, I'm crying a little bit from the quad with the bad rear end.
Well, you couldn't do anything about it anyway.
Oh, my God.
So I had to help Steve unload this pile of shit.
Yes, we are still the most politically incorrect podcast
It
ever.
took a skid loader.
Wait a second. The quad with the bad rear end needed a skid
It
loader?
needed, yes, yeah.
Because there was a skid loader. Yeah, that's it.
There was no
Simba. Okay, just checking. Just checking. Yeah.
So, yeah, this thing has the whole ass end blown out of it.
Oh, that's like me.
Yeah, definitely.
But the guy bought all the new parts for it.
Okay.
So it's got the new pumpkin and everything.
All right.
But his I don't know if it was his dad or his brother, probably whatever. They have a shop.
Okay.
And they said we started pressing the bearings in. Well, all they proceeded to do is press all the rollers and all the needles out of all the bearings that they pressed in.
No way.
And so,
I mean, just to make a long story even longer. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, it's a rear end, so you got a ring and a pinion and everything. So the pinion in that has, it's not a set of roller bearings, or tapered roller bearings. It's a flat roller bearing with a needle bearing at the other end of the pinion and everything like that. Well, they fucking duffed all that. They were trying to stuff that into the thing, and
you got it cockeyed, and they broke the cage, and all the needles fell to the bottom of it.
They obviously didn't realize you have to heat the housing and cool the bearings
and then push them
in. And they fucked it. They screwed the pooch on it. He's gonna have to order some extra parts and everything, but I'm sure we can get that back together. And you could just tell.
What is the bike?
What happened to the
what
bike? What happened to the bike is that somebody buried it in the mud 20,000 times. Never checked the differential fluid. The gears, the ring and pinions are just rusted.
I'm sorry,
all the
did you ask what kind of bike are we talking about?
Right.
It is a 1980 Diggity, right?
That's a 1998 TRX 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it runs perfectly.
It does run. Okay, so the bike runs. I mean, the engine runs and everything. Has a loud as fuck pipe on it.
So TRX 300, this is a fully independent suspension, right?
No, it's got a solid
solid rear axle.
independent front.
Yeah.
All-time four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Full utility 4x4.
It's got reverse.
It'll be
How much
fun.
loot? How much loot?
$800.
Okay, you are cringing, but you have no understanding
get
of what the
anything
4x4 quad
Yeah.
market is like right now.
It's mental.
Because you cannot buy a new one.
No, I know.
Every used one is through the fucking moon.
Well, I know what I sold my two-wheel drive quad for just a little
if you
while
had
ago.
waited till this year, you could have sold it for twice that much.
Yep.
I know.
It's out of control.
Speaking of, but this Saturday, I'm going to look at a bike, and I'm not going to say what it is. It's very affordable, and it's been covered in Vaseline and oil every year of its life and stored inside dude's house.
Is this the guy who owns Law's Leather?
But because you just said that, I think I might need to take somebody with me just in case.
It does put the lotion in the basket.
So what kind of bike? It begs the
tell us where
question.
you're going,
What kind of
Steve.
bike are you looking at?
It's a Honda.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a step in the right direction.
And so I have an 80 and I have an 82, but I don't have an 81.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's an 81, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
That's-
An 81 Honda.
Yeah.
So that means the igniters are shot.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's got electrical problems.
Well, no,
a
he
double
said-
overhead
he said
cam.
Everything works. Everything works 100% on it.
Steve, it's a
Does it have second-
CM400. It's got to be a
Does it
CM400.
have second
It's
gear?
got to be a CM400.
What?
Second gear's not blown out of it?
Nope.
It's a CB900.
Nope.
No,
How many cylinders
no,
does it
no.
have?
20 questions here.
Several.
Several. I'm gonna say
Oh,
it's
a
the
CBX?
Okay. I'm gonna say it's a 650.
Nope.
All right. Well, there you go.
It's
82.
kind of rare.
It's an 81.
It's kind of rare.
It's
It's an
an
81.
SC750.
Now wait a second, John. It's kind of rare, and it's an 81.
There is no such thing as a rare Honda.
No, but it's
Amen,
not.
brother.
It's not one you hear a lot about. Not a lot of people have. There's not a lot of these rolling around.
All right.
It has a look of another bigger bike, but it's smaller.
A look of another.
So more
Another
than two
hint.
pistons. So it's a four-banger.
It has. It looks exactly like its big brother, but it's smaller.
What?
Ridiculously like its big brother, but it's smaller.
A GL.
And it may share something
No.
with the bike that Nick rode here tonight.
Is it a 550 Nighthawk 550?
Nope.
It shares something with
With
a
the Super Hawk.
66 Super Hawk.
Well, you just
Super is
A
it
broken Kickstarter.
An 81. Is it 81, right?
81.
81. Wow, this is a
81.
good game. Holy shit, I love this game. I love everything about this game.
It came in two colors. It came in silver with black and blue graphics,
okay.
and it came in
Yeah, I know what it
black
is
with
now.
red and orange graphics.
Black
Was it a
CB750. It's the CB750 dual overhead cam.
But it's not a 750.
It's not a
It's
750.
the baby brother.
Right.
500. There's no 500.
No, there's the
650.
550.
Nope.
Well, I said 550.
No, but and I said 650.
Nope.
But it's a 450.
Nope. It's a 400.
That's right. Oh, I was close when I said CM
But it's not
400.
several cylinders.
It is several.
That's a couple. So
How many
Oh,
cylinders?
what I was saying.
No, several is more than a couple.
Between a couple
Several is
cylinders
3
and
and
several
above.
cylinders. So fuck you.
No, a couple is 2 and 2 or 3.
No,
Right.
a couple is 2.
Right.
Now wait a second. Though.
Unless you're in Utah.
Is it? But is it a hawk?
Yes. But it's the very sexy hawk, not the gross hawk.
Get it up there.
Now hold on. It's
Yeah, get it up.
I mean, I have to be.
Explain yourself
It's an 81.
in detail.
I have to be completely honest with you. There are only 2 Honda CB. I mean, there are only 2 400 Hawks, right?
Right.
So there's only 2 of them. So there's 2 different versions of a 400 Hawk that we got in this country. Okay. And so one of them is
Manual.
Manuel.
Yeah, this is not automatic. This is no automatic on anything.
right. So there's
I'd be more
the-
impressed if it was a Honda Matic.
So there's the roundy gas tank, and then there's the sporty gas
the
tank.
super sexy 1980s Blade Runner fucking
Okay, I
Tron.
see.
So there's the sexy gas tank, and then there's the not sexy gas tank. So this one down here. So if we look at this one, this is the one where we all say the same thing. What do we say, Steve, when we see that bike? Yeah, exactly.
No, nobody wants that bike.
You're like, that is shit with Comstars.
Right.
That is a bike that is literally, you failed at being Honda. How did you fail at being Honda?
It gets 3 stars.
It is literally, and it
That's
has
a 2-star.
And
fucking
remember,
bike.
yeah, no
Oh,
shit.
that's not even a 0-star.
Steve and I both have an equal amount of fucking hate and vile fucking avarice for this fucking bike. Like, we despise this fucking bike.
Well,
Everybody
Hondas
does.
Don't love that one.
No.
I love Hondas. I hate the CB400T hard. Okay, I mean fucking hard.
Well, the T.
With
Right.
homologation.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
So-
there's that guy.
Then there's this, which is the Night Hawk ish. So I mean, this is a really, really tough thing because when you get
It's
into
a 750 fucking shrunk down to
Still got
400.
comp stars, though.
It does have Comstar.
Yeah.
You know what?
yeah,
As a motorcyclist,
yeah,
or as a vintage motorcycle guy, I look at that and I'm like, ugh, that's
Right.
disgusting.
Me,
But
I like it.
But that's not a bad looking motorcycle.
but now
Wait, is it
kinda.
the silver one or the black one?
Black.
so
Okay.
Chris has the Suzuki version.
I
of
almost
this.
wish it was the
Right,
silver
right.
one because it would more match up with your
So
Suzuki.
if you
I
look
know.
up so if you look up at the screen right now, so this is the CB400 T that Chris Smith has the Suzuki GS version of this.
450.
And these and you would get the magazine, you'd open up the magazine. The only difference between these two bikes is the Suzuki had 6 gears. The Honda had 5. The Suzuki had a thing on the dashboard that told you what gear you're in, and the Honda didn't.
Don't you have cast wheels?
Yes.
I did cast wheels.
But cast wheels the question is, are cast wheels better than Comstars? I don't know.
Well, Andy has 50 more cc's.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will tell
a
you,
gear
and I'll
indicator.
be happy to tell
And
you that the Suzuki is
And
faster.
sideburns.
Yeah.
And sideburns.
It sounds like the
Sideburns.
Suzuki wins.
The Suzuki does win.
This is
yeah.
a Honda.
But you
Did
have
you miss
Exactly.
that
But
part?
the
That's the
Honda
only
has
thing.
much
That's the
more.
only thing.
Phil,
The
you
Honda
and
has
I,
much more easily adjustable valves.
Keep in mind, yes, exactly. The Honda does have easier to adjust. So remember that there's a CM400 and a CB400.
Right.
And so this is where people lose the plot. You can tell me all day long about your CB400 or your Hawk even, right? Your 400 Hawk or your Hawk-O-Matic. I'm going to tell you that bike looks like a bag of smashed assholes. Like that bag is a
terrible.
mess. The seat is a mess. The gas tank's a mess. The handlebars are a mess. Everything on that bike is a fucking
they
mess.
come up with this
Seat
shit?
is so large.
The CB400 is a fucking mess.
Why is the seat so big?
Why is the seat so big? So Merritt, my wife coined this term. Dr. Wires coined this term so I can say it. That is what we call, so you remember there's also an era of Yamahas that had a particular type of a seat?
Oh, yeah.
In the mid 80s or early 80s. Merritt calls it the fat girl seat. And Merritt just says it has the fat girl seat.
But let me just
This
say
bike
this.
is too slow for fat hoes.
This bike has the fat girl seat.
I'm looking at this bike
Right.
at less than Chinese scooter money.
Of course you are.
Well,
All right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that. And
Right.
the dude has Vaselined it into a cocoon.
I totally get it.
So if it's what it should
Because
be,
you're so embarrassed by owning it, you had to put it in Vaseline.
I need an 81. I have an 80 and an 82. I need an 81.
Why?
So there's this version.
All I ask you is, why do you have an 81 and an 83?
This bike, on the bike on the screen right now, the bike on the screen.
Comes from the guy who owns 193 motorcycles that nobody else in the world wants.
Show Steve a bike and he'll say, I love that bike. I love that bike.
Does everybody else hate
Look
it?
at this
It's
bike. I
slow
love
and-
that bike too.
My favorite bike.
I love every bike.
You buy that bike, you bring it here, he'll be like, I love that bike.
You're gonna fucking want it even before I wipe the Vaseline off of it.
No, Phil knows that I will never want that bike.
Never.
Why?
Ever.
Give me your why.
He does not like the 400 parallel twin platform at all. Zero fucking fucks given. Steve honestly, legitimately hates that. And he also hates the CM200s too.
But
hate
by
those.
all accords, it's
I
a
will
very
never do that.
solid
Make that
bike.
mistake
Guys have had
again.
100,000 miles on them.
Yep.
0 stars.
0 stars. Yeah. And you know,
All
this
I'm
is,
saying, Cinch, is remember, buck a CC.
Right.
Well,
And
I'm
look up
right
the
there.
screen. Look up the screen right now. You'll see a CB400 T-Hawk, right? Okay. So here we have this bike, and this created so much confusion. You guys got to remember, I was 12 years old. So I was 12 years old, 13 years old when this shit happened. So
What did you think then?
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Not much.
So here was, I didn't think much at all. I was too busy beating my dick. So anyway, beat it like it owed me money every goddamn day. Never stopped either. It's weird. So now you look up at the
Never
screen.
paid up either.
Gold rims, gold forks.
All right.
Okay.
The gold forks are a little confusing.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's many things that are confusing. Okay, but anyway.
hideous.
Okay, hold on. So if you're looking through Cycle World magazine or whatever magazine you were looking through back in the day, for me it was usually somebody else's leftover Playboys. But if you looked at this motorcycle and then you looked at this motorcycle and you realized they had the same name.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is weird.
Okay, this is super annoying that a CB400T and a CB400T are the same fucking bike. And the CB400 T-Hawk from 1981 is...
Let's call it a tea bag instead.
But do you see when you look at this bike that you see all of the pieces from a GL500? You see all the pieces from a CX500?
No, it's more CX. It's not a GL.
You're right. It's more
CX.
CX-ish. It has that awful, I wish I was a Sportster seat. It has this gas tank that is shaped like nothing on the planet. Right? And it has a design element that is just like...
Can't look at it.
Right, exactly.
Turn it off.
It's fucking painful.
Turn it off.
I do prefer
Avert your eyes.
forks.
Avert your eyes.
But you know what's sadder is when somebody takes one of these fucking things and tries to turn it into a cafe racer.
Yeah, don't do that.
And when you do that, you know what that is?
thought it was
Lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, it's
you
bad.
are not winning.
No, it's like jacking off to like an old folks home commercial.
So at least on
you
half of them,
I'm falling and I can't get up.
Oh my god!
and the hawk,
Throw shit at me?
the hawk with the hawk.
Chris and I are about to throw down.
I
over
can
here,
tell.
Okay? The motherfucker's getting up in my fucking business.
And if you have the hawk that has the blue paint job with the red stripe and the black
They're
stripe,
fucking whiskey.
Terrible.
the orange stripe and the black
I'm ready to
stripe.
fight.
Do you know who has that bike and he puts it out front every day as a prize? Is
Who?
McBuffers in fucking Menor.
Okay, there you go.
This guy has a
I don't fucking
buffing
know.
shop and he
I
drags that
Oh,
fucking.
that bike is the most hideous
It's
bike
fucking terrible.
ever made.
If you
Tell that to Stephen Noble.
CB400A Hawkomatic, I'm going to tell you something. That is the definition of, oh, really? I have a motorcycle too. I have a motorcycle too. Can I ride with you guys?
Come on, guys. Let
Yeah.
me ride with you.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine way back when, that was his first bike. He bought a Hawkomatic.
Right, a Hawkomatic. Yeah.
I went through it. I got it running, and honestly, it was okay.
Right.
I mean, the operation of the motorcycle once you got past everything, and I will tell you that a CB650 gas tank will fit on that.
Of course it will.
His was roached.
Yeah.
And I happened to be down at Mid Ohio, and I'm like, hey, you know what? The same year
Yep.
of CB650 gas tank
Slot right on.
mounts right on, and so I put a bigger.
Yep.
Even I'm like, well, it was a nice gas tank. It wasn't roached.
Right.
And it's bigger, so it holds more fuel, and it
Right.
actually wasn't bad for him. He enjoyed the bike.
You can also put the Honda CX500 gas tank on it, and it's like sexy cafe racer styling.
Yeah.
You know, and it won't look like fucking smashed asshole this thing is.
And he rode that thing for quite a while. I mean, you could take it on the road. I mean, it would go on the highway. You could get about 80 mile an hour out of it
Yep.
if you really tried.
Yeah, but I can do the same thing with a 250cc Vespa. So fuck.
No, I mean, I'm just giving you my experience with it.
I get it. I totally get it. These bikes
They're hideous.
These
fucking
are the
terrible.
fucking honorable mention award of every
terrible.
fucking motorcycle
That's
thing
why I
ever.
say I'd rather have the Honda Matic. At least it's got something
I think next week,
avant-garde going
why don't
for
we
it.
do
It's
the
got
10
something.
worst bikes ever made next week?
I think that's a great idea.
But
Because that
And then let everybody else pan us for that.
Because
Because we'll be
we-
like, oh, the Britain was the worst, but it was the best.
Now the Hawk Honda Matic, from my experience, had 2 ranges, not 3. Like the Honda Matic CB750 had a 1, 2, and a 3.
right.
That had a
depending
1
on the year. So they had some of them had a high-low.
Okay.
And some had a 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I stand corrected.
I think so. Yeah.
But the Hawk-O-Matic that I experienced had a 1 and a 2. But you
Yes.
could just put it in 2.
no, Hawk-O-Matics were a 1, 2.
Yeah.
So Hawk-O-Matics were definitely a 1, 2.
But you could leave it in 2
Yeah,
and
all
just,
the time.
You
Yeah.
just basically had one. You just take off, stop, go. It was kind of interesting.
and the
Yeah,
thing
but
is-
Chevy had 2 gears too.
I drove a 307 Power Glide
Yeah,
for many
Power-
years.
Well, I was perusing the things, and I found this, and I was like, "Wow, it's really cheap," and I kind of like the look because I always like the 750.
I like the
version.
look.
Well, no, I like the 750.
No,
So
he's looking at this one, which
Yeah.
honestly, okay, what this is this is a CB750F Super Sport. It's a CB900F Super Sport.
Right, with two
It's-
cylinders.
It's a CB, right, with 2 cylinders. Exactly
And
right.
they just shrunk it down, whatever. So he had a picture, but it was only one, and I was like,
This is the 250 Ninja of 1981.
Right.
Right.
And I was like, is this really the bike? It's
Right.
not the other fucking toaster looking
Right.
stuck on a pole fucking motorcycle.
Right.
He's like, oh no. And then he sent me more pictures.
Right.
And then he added, like, I Vaseline it every year. I spray WD-40 on everything. It's all this thing. And when I was like, okay.
What do
And
you
you know
mean?
what?
What
And
do
This
you
guy's gonna have you're gonna walk into this guy's house and there's gonna be butterflies flying around all over the place.
You're going to walk into this
And
guy's
then you're
house.
gonna be like,
I got a story.
Well, first of all, what do you mean toaster looking?
What? Like not a bad way. Like no, the Honda Hawk, your Hawk, the toaster tank is cool. But if like on the other one, the 400T that Phil pulled up that sucks, that's like a toaster stuck on a fucking Christmas pole. It's terrible.
it puts lotion on its
Christmas
shaved
pole.
taint.
What's a Christmas ball?
He's gonna put
Festivus
your
bush.
manscaper down in that
Festivus.
little basket for you and like
Well, hold on.
Fuck me.
brought-
Fuck me real hard.
You brought something up, and it reminded me of a story. It was fucking crazy.
Airing
So-
of the grievances.
When I was racing bicycles, I was racing road bikes, and I was looking for a set of rollers, like things that you could ride in the basement. You have to actually ride.
Yeah.
And so I found a set on Craigslist, and the dude was on Clark Avenue, right downtown. After 20 feet, when you get off over there, right?
Was that for your CB900RR?
or you're huffy.
No, this was my fucking like road bicycle, my Cannondale.
His Huffy.
And no, Cannondale, thank you very much. But anyways, so I pull down the road, I get over there, and I go to Clark, and I see the guy's address, and it's like this house, and it has like a garage kind of in the, like, or a garage hole in the middle where you go through the house, and you can see the garage, and he has a big boat. And the guy's like, he's like a short guy, and he's kind of cool. He's like, oh, you're here for the rollers? I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay, come on in. I'm like, oh, can you bring him out? He's like, no, I want to bring you in. So wait. So I go in. I'm like, okay,
says,
fine.
okay.
So I follow the guy, right? We go in, and on the hat rack, I see a bunch of like leather, like the captain's hats, the boat hats with studs and shit on them, all on the thing. I'm
Oh,
like,
it was Oh Captain My Captain.
yeah. So
From
I'm like,
Moto.
I'm like, okay,
Freddie
okay.
Mercury.
I'm like, all right. So then we go into the living, like we walk up the steps. It's like a house where you can walk up, and the living room's there.
Stranger danger.
And he's got like 50
So
fucking.
this guy on the screen right now.
Yeah.
He's
that
got
guy.
like 50 stereos and speakers and all this shit, and everything has price tags. It's like a store in his house. And I'm like, okay.
Really?
I'm like, okay. I'm like, he sells a lot of shit, whatever. He's like, you want to see the rollers? And I'm like, yeah.
Did
He's
you
like,
did you hear screaming from the basement? at
no,
all?
not yet. So hold on. So
That was
Wait,
him.
it gets worse.
So he goes, okay, they're downstairs. Follow me. And I'm like, okay. So I let him go down first, and I'm like 10 feet behind him as we go down. We get down to his basement, and you remember the old school, like, they're not ellipticals, but they have like a fan wheel in the front. With
Yeah,
the
Schwinn
thing.
made him. Yeah.
Yeah, he has like 20.
I have one of those. It's an Airdyne.
He has
Airdyne.
20 of those stacked up, and then he's got like 5 Norditrack ski machines all lined up perfectly, and all this like OCD kind of shit.
Was he
big
morbidly
bucks.
obese?
No, he was very like he rode road bikes. So then I look to the right, and there's all these bikes, and I'm like, okay, the guy's a bike guy, cool, whatever. So I see, and at that point, I see the rollers that I'm looking for, and he's like, "Yeah, here they are." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
He's luring you in even
So
further.
I give him the money. It was like $50. He hands me the rollers, and I'm thinking we're gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna leave. He's like, "Hey, I think I have something else you might want to be interested in, right?" I'm like, "Okay." So we walk back upstairs. So wait, this gets really interesting. So now I get to the part of the house. I follow him, and we go through the area where all the stereos were and all the price tags and stuff.
Was the well anywhere near there?
Dude, I'm not kidding. Hold on. So we get past that, and now the other part of the living room has chainsaws on a coffee table lined up. And then I look to the left of that, and there's steps that go upstairs to this guy's other place where he lives. And it's like it's a staircase that kind of is like big, and it wraps like this and goes up. And every third step had a mannequin on it. And every mannequin had different stages of S&M gear. Like this one was kind of like just like a German Nazi guy.
Would you say it was easing you into it?
Oh yeah. And then like 2 steps up from that was a guy with no pants and a leather thing. And then 2 steps up from that was like a full S&M thing. And he's like, seriously, you're gonna want this. Just follow me up here. I'm like, I'm good.
Totally
I got
good.
my rollers. I'm
Totally
good.
good.
And
Yeah.
I was kind of freaking out. Now I'm like, holy shit! Like this is a problem. Like this guy is fucking. He wants to eat my liver. You know, but out of nowhere, this tiny little fucking dog, like this little fucking white puffball of a dog runs by, and the front door was cracked, and it hits the door, and it goes out the door, and he's like, oh shit, Smegley, or whatever the fucking dog's name was, and he runs after the dog, and I'm like, fuck, so I grab my rollers, and I shove them in my car, and I'm driving out, and he's like, wait, I have to show you something. I'm like, no, fuck you, I'm good.
My God.
This story is brought to you by Manscaped.
So
You hurt my dog.
So I left, I got my fucking rollers, and I used the rollers, but now, anytime I go down Clark on the way to 25th, I look at this
Stop in and
fucking
say hi.
house. Dude, this dude, no, this guy's living there. I don't know. He's probably killed like 50 people, but I'm not never fucking going back. Fuck that guy.
Oh, come on.
I'll go there, man. Fuck it. See what's going on.
We're gonna hang out the back. We'll drink some beers.
And plus, he used
Chainsaws.
and he used way too much teeth on the blowjob. So I was just like, dude, fuck off, dude. We're done.
Simple point. It'll never get weird enough for me. Oh, really? Mannequins?
Oh yeah.
Really? Mannequins? That's the best you can do?
No, I'm sorry, but that's what happened.
I
I'm just
know,
telling you.
I was joking about like him. But as a proof that we said all people that put sidecars on scooters
That's what
have problems.
Well,
I'm
exactly.
gonna call it screen one. Look at that asshole. That guy's nothing but fucking trouble right there. That guy is a piece of shit right there. You see that guy coming at you? You fucking
Look at
get
that
the fuck out of
haircut.
it.
Please date
Dude.
my daughter.
And here's what I can tell you about that. You know what that is? That motherfucker's groomed. Yeah.
I can hear him jangling from here.
Yeah, that's it. The curtain matched the fucking drapes in that shot. I can guarantee it. That right there, that is an example of a Rally 200. Look at the eagle on the sidecar. Yeah, that's an eagle on the fucking sidecar. Yeah, that paint job was done by Julio. Yeah.
Hide your daughters.
Hide your daughters, ladies. Yeah, that motherfucker, like that
Hide your
dude right
dogs.
there.
Hide
that
your
dude,
cats.
right, hide your cats.
Hide
And nobody got
everything.
time for that. Right. That dude right there is trouble.
Sketchy McWaterson.
There is a Sony 8-track tape player in the top case of the back of that scooter. Yeah, the dashboard was wood grain. But yeah, that was my Vespa Rally 200 with sidecar rig.
You know what? Speaking of scooters,
Speaking of,
wasn't there some flash in the pan kind of thing about a possible scooter rally at the compound?
well, again, don't know when.
We're really slight on details, but
I don't think there are any details. Yeah.
There are no
Right.
details.
There's no details
But
whatsoever.
it was tossed out that it would be Father's Day weekend, so that would be June
usually
20th.
17th-ish or something,
The
right?
20th or something.
Okay, all right.
Which
Fair
is
enough.
normally when band camp would happen.
Yes, it is. Right.
So
That-
there was
historically speaking,
a
yes.
certain crew, and we won't even get into
Dan?
that kind of detail. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Dan knows who he is. We all know who Dan is. Dan is a professional fucking podcast listener.
Okay.
Like Dan is a straight up mensch. Like Dan is a fucking dude. He's in the Pharaohs. No, he's in the Vulcan Scooter Club in Cincinnati.
Talking about
Okay.
Dan. Oh wait.
Dan Hostwick?
Yeah, Dan.
Dan
Yeah, right.
is a fucking dude. Dan's a fucking legend. Let's just say
He's
it.
a
can
good
you
dude,
vouch for
man.
Dan?
I can vouch the shit out of Dan.
I can too.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
Dan's
brought
the
me
man.
weed in the morning at fucking Mid Ohio. So
There you
fuck
go.
yeah.
Straight you right out.
Yeah.
Straight you right out.
Dan is straight up like The only reason Dan doesn't have his own podcast just called Dan is because Dan is too busy listening to all the best motorcycle podcasts
And working on scooters.
Yeah, and working on fucking bikes and like legit making shit.
Yep.
And then he's at Rheingeist Brewery, so he's down there. So like Dan is straight up like we're sitting here doing a podcast. We're missing out on the fact that you can either do a podcast or you can listen to all the podcasts.
And Steve, Dan is the guy who asked if you would like to host not band camp at your compound.
Not a band
so
camp.
that's Dan.
Right on.
So that is actual factual.
Right.
That Bandcamp 2021
Not happening.
is Bandcamp 2020 done.
Now it's going to be Hoff Camp.
Off camera.
2021.
yeah.
Mod, Ohio.
No, this is not Mid Ohio, so it's not band camp, Hoff
Mod,
camp.
Ohio.
Right, Mod Ohio. That has a
The text message that I saw billed it as we've got 20 persons
Plus maybe
from the Cincy area that have been vaccinated and would be interested in borrowing the compound
And have no fucks to give.
right.
Yeah.
for the weekend.
Right.
No
have some
expectations. They're happy just to fucking have a piece of grass.
Honestly, they're happy to drive 2.5 hours north, 3 hours north, and have somewhere to fuck with that isn't Cincinnati.
yeah, where they can
Right.
smash scooters, drink beer,
Right.
and fart.
That sounds like a good time.
Word on the
Does sound
street.
like a good time.
like a really
it
good
actually
time.
sounds like a really fucking good time. How much fun can you cram into 3 acres?
As long as they're willing to accept all liability.
And the rules. The rules.
There are no rules.
There, you
say
can't
all the
fuck
wood
with your
ticks.
camper.
Right?
You can't fuck with Steve's stuff.
You lease the property for $2 for 2 days and assume all liability.
And if anything ridiculous happens, it has to be worth it and on video,
And yes.
which I will be happy to be there and film in case anything happens.
And edit.
And edit, of course. Right.
So obviously there'll have to be some conversations or something like
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's usually, what did he say, Father's Day weekend or Mother's Day? Or
Father's Day weekend.
Father's Day weekend, right?
So
work is
as a
they shouldn't
father,
have
I
to
get
make
a
a
free pass
fire.
to do whatever the fuck I want.
Right. If my
If what I
family...
fucking want to do is go fucking bash, that is what I will do.
Right.
Fucking bash.
I say we have a really good time and do a fucking scooter thing at your fucking compound.
We have to build the bathrooms, though.
We don't have to do anything.
No, we're renting porta potties.
That's all on them.
Tell him if
Hoff.
they want to do it, they got to get 4 porta potties.
There is a possibility that there will be some pre-preparation and stuff like that. And
is
I have
good.
some things that I have some goals, maybe bathrooms, maybe electric, maybe this, that, and the other thing. But
Plus, I want
Hoff, can you say slit trenches?
I want status. I want like the fact that like we even know Steve to affect us in a way that any hot girls have to at least say hi to us at least once.
well,
That might be a little too far, but
Okay.
I'm
A
into it.
bridge too far.
I think it would be really
One
fun.
thing I would expect, though, is at least some Skyline chili brought up from Cincy.
They need to bring Skyline chili.
Cold Skyline
that
chili.
might happen.
So
And-
listen up,
and a
people.
crave
Steve
case.
is laying out his terms.
You know what? I'd say
And a
here,
crave case.
the minimum
from-
requirement would be a crave case with
Several.
jalapenos, and a 5-way party sized 5-way. So if you can do like a party size 5-way and a crave case, or at least maybe 1, maybe 2 crave cases might be the good move. But that would be a good,
And some graders. I wouldn't mind having some graders from the source. So
there you go. Right.
You know what?
But you know what? You can leave the fucking Getta down there because I don't
Yeah.
need that shit. Yeah.
I'm all for this. Honestly, this sounds like a
It does sound like a really good idea.
I am more than itching for some sort of overnight
Can we-
blowout at the
Can we
compound.
ride
Yeah.
the SSRs in a scooter rally and
Well,
be considered cool?
Oh,
Absolutely.
This is all going to happen. I mean,
Okay, so
Whether or not you're
that's a
considered
foregone
cool
conclusion.
is another thing. but-
for the record, we've done more with less.
Right.
Yeah. Here's something. If you're trying to sell your motorcycle, just a little side. If you are trying to sell your motorcycle to a dealership and you tell the dealership that your motorcycle is in A1 condition, A1 condition, not although part of the normal rating scale, we usually like to work on 10. If your Honda CB250R has this going on, it's not in A1 condition.
For those
So-
just listening, there's
for those
scratches
listening,
and
there's
broken things.
broken plastic on your motorcycle.
Right.
So if there's broken plastic on your motorcycle, it is no longer in A1 condition.
Would that be like A3, or do you go right down
yeah.
to B?
Yeah, we're gonna go. So we might have to go with
That was a B.
I'm gonna have to say
most of the time the dealer doesn't notice that.
I'm gonna say that's a 6 with an asterisk. Looks like it's been tossed by an asshole. So this
smashed asshole.
No, tossed by a dickhead who doesn't know how to ride. He's already replaced the turn signals with LEDs because he broke off the OEM ones. That's the first sign. And whatever your sticker you've got in your gas tank to hide where your belt buckle took the paint off the gas tank is also no points given for that.
Supreme douche nozzle.
It is a Supreme douche nozzle. I think you're right. And the bonus points too, if your right turn signals don't match your left turn signals, that's great. If you've put on a Leo Vinci pipe and done nothing else to it,
That's
no
not
bonus
though.
points.
That's an eBay pipe with the Leo Vinci sticker.
I think you're right. It is an eBay pipe with a Leo Vinci
Yes,
sticker.
it is.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a
Okay.
Dan fucking moto pipe.
Dude, this guy took a fucking macro shot of the fucking tire that shows the goddamn silica molecules, right? So, of course, the tire, to show that the tread was good, he literally got in with a fucking eBay microscope on his iPhone.
I wonder what tire that is.
The best part about
It's his OEM Bridgestone. Dude,
the best part about the tire shot is there's only 2 inches in the middle used.
Well, of course, there's 2 inches. This thing has more chicken strips than fucking canes.
It's more than tire.
But here's the thing about it is
When you close up on that, it looks like Cinch's ass crack.
it does. It is
So smooth.
devoid of hair.
Oh,
That's
this podcast brought to you by Manscaped.
Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped. You too can have a crevice that looks like the tread of a 3,000 mile.
I can see the fart bubbles coming out of it.
Well,
right
these
now.
are the OEM. Look, dude.
Phil, can you use the Manscaped, the Lawnmower 4.0 to take off tire knobs?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Tire titties.
But here's the weird thing.
Nipples.
Look, your bike has 3,800 original miles on it.
Oh, God.
Wow, that wasn't loud at all.
Demonetized.
Do you know who's really bad at playing Operation?
Dan.
So again, anyway, not to get into it, but this is a legitimately 9-year-old CBR, Honda CBR, 9 years old with 3,800 miles on it. Do you know what else they forgot? The mirrors.
Yeah.
So if your bike doesn't have any mirrors on it,
How much does he want for that $500 bike?
exactly right. No, he wants a trade. He's thinking that it's worth $2,500 in trade-in value. The bike runs tip-top on an A+ to F grading scale. I would say it's an A to an A-. I've attached several images, and the oil was changed 800 miles ago. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing, though.
Right.
I'll let you go first.
Go ahead.
In today's market,
Yeah.
he might get it.
He might get it. That's true.
But not trading in.
Yeah, there's
He's
a
gotta
weird
sell,
there's a
you
weird
know?
inflation thing happening right now that's so hard to understand at the moment. It's kooky and fucking weird.
If it's got a full tank
There's
of gas,
there's
it might
no
be worth
inventory
it.
out there. The inventory's not there.
Chip shortage.
There's a chip shortage.
Every dick nozzle with the CB550.
And we're looking at a fuel shortage coming up. So
No, we're not. It's still $2.79 at the corner gas station.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No.
I checked.
Dude,
Not
Not in
gonna
North
get
Carolina.
gas.
I filled 9 hefty extra duty
Right.
bags with gas last
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
I have them in my
And your Hummer blew up.
I have rusted out 55-gallon drums holding gasoline
you
right
go.
now.
So if you have a 2000 and I hate even talking about this.
11.
But like straight up legit, if you think you're sitting on a gold mine, if you're sitting there going, you know what? I've got this motorcycle. It's a 2012 CBR 250. It's at this point, I hate to say it, it's 9 years old. There's been 2 generations out since this. You're missing your fucking mirrors. I don't know what you're using for mirrors on this goddamn bike. I know it's got crash damage, battle damage on the left-hand side. I know the tires are OEM and dry as a fucking bone. So they're no fucking good. You know, a 9-year-old sport bike tire that's the OEM tire that Honda put on to save money, which means it's probably a Bridgestone or a Chengshin or a Maxxis or whatever.
Wasn't there a little problem with some of those where they had to have the whole motor
Yeah,
taken
there's a bit
apart?
of a bit of a crank problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's ever had a problem with that.
Also, what's going on right now with bikes for sale,
Yeah.
right? A lot of the vintage bikes that are asking big money, like $5,000 for a CB550, like all original.
Right.
And then you read down through the thing and it's like, except for the gas tank,
Yep.
the side things, the seat, the
exhaust.
front, the
Yeah.
exhaust.
Which is the trifecta. Like if you're buying a bike, you
Right.
want nice bodywork,
Right.
a clean gas tank, good exhaust,
Right.
nice seat.
Yeah.
That's the
thing.
trifecta.
So, like, if you're selling this bike,
Right.
Add in a toolkit and a very clean title.
Both
Right.
keys and a clean title.
But here's the thing. Don't lie to people. Say, I restored this fucking bike. The motor and the frame matches. It's a matching number bike, but I've done all this work. That appeals to me more than saying all original, and then you find out.
Tastefully restored.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck it, dude. Look, your bike is just a starter bike. It's just a CBR 250. It's clearly been thrown down the road at least one time on the left side. The mirrors are fucking AWOL because you broke that shit off. You got eBay goddamn turn signals on the fucking thing.
Honestly,
and your only claim
how?
to fame is you didn't ride it enough.
Right.
The only thing you got going for you is I can't go to a Honda dealership and buy one.
But I mean,
That's
realistically, that's your only thing. The only thing you have is it exists.
That's it.
But you know what? If you look around, there's a lot of bikes that exist. We had a dude come.
Okay, so but you do do a search for CBR on Craigslist or on Marketplace, and you know what you get? A bajillion 250s and 300s.
Well, how much was he asking for this one?
There are no 600s.
He wants.
There are no
20. He thinks it's worth 2,500.
Okay.
Which
No
it is.
way.
It probably is to a dude that's like trying to buy a bike and there's none available right now.
Right,
But
but
you're not walking into a shop and
Go
helping
find
a
it.
professional.
But the
Then
thing
again-
is, I mean, go find a cheaper one.
Right.
Then
Go find
again,
a cheaper one.
Then again, yes, it
you
is
won't
fuel
find it.
injected.
Okay, but as a shop owner, as Phil is, how are you going to sell that if you buy
So
it?
here's the problem: is if you look at what NADA, and honestly, guys, if anybody comes at me with KBV values,
You punch him in the dick?
you're wrong, dude. I hate to be that way, but KBB is a puppet of the insurance industry and everything else. KBB has nothing to do with reality.
Kelly Blue Book.
Kelly Blue Book. Kelly Blue Book is a fantasy.
Kelly Blue Ball.
Yeah. Kelly Blue Book is a fantasy. Go to NADA. NADA is the North American Automotive Dealers Association. It's actually based on bikes that changed hands and have fucking titles that disappeared, like, into the ether and shit. Like, your bike was worth this. How do we know? Because this dealer paid that for it. Your bike was worth that. How do we know? Because this fucking chode paid that for it. So that bike's low retail, and honestly, when a bike has got broken parts and no mirrors and fucked up turn signals, I'm going to call that low retail.
Yeah.
Is $1,900 in today's dollars. Average retail, which generally to me means the shit's tip top and I don't need to do fuck all to it, that's $2,500 doll hairs.
And that's retail.
That's retail.
So you need to make at least, what, 20, 25%?
If I can't make 25% on a used bike, go fuck your hat.
Right,
Honestly.
exactly,
Right.
right.
Go fuck somebody else, right? But not joking. This bike sold goddamn brandy spanking new for $4,100.
Right.
So if it's $4,100 and it's 13 years old.
and you drove it off the lot,
Right.
you're at 50% right there.
So,
Right,
so
here's
it's
the-
2021.
Right. So are you saying this bike.
And I've rolled out and
Right.
I went and got my permit.
Right.
And I need a bike to ride.
Exactly.
And I'm looking for a bike to ride.
Right. Yep.
Guess what?
Yeah.
That looks great.
It looks great.
And
It looks great. But
for a consumer like that, it's probably not a bad price.
Right.
But as a fucking dealership or something, you're not getting
dude, I
anywhere
got an
near that.
R3. I got an R3.
It doesn't look great to us because we're motorcycle fucking vampires.
Exactly.
Wow.
And we don't fucking buy anything that we're not fucking stealing.
But here's the thing. That looks like a great deal.
Right.
That's what? A 250?
It's a 250.
You could have a 1991 Suzuki Bandit 400 for the same price.
For
you
the
could have
same
4 carburetors and no fuel
400.
injection, so fuck you.
And what is also a weird thing is here in the building with us is a Yamaha R3 that's a 2019
And how much is that bike, Phil?
4K,
Okay.
That ain't bad.
and it only has 800 miles on it.
And it hasn't been crashed 7
How
times.
many carburetors
It
does
hasn't
it
been
have?
crashed.
You lost
It has-
me at 4K.
It has one fuel
You
injector.
lost me at 4K.
It has-
You lost me at 4K.
All right, John, for you,
the tires aren't.
$39.99.
Wait a second. The tires aren't 14 years old.
I'm looking for the minimal
Right.
cost to entry
And-
into the motorcycle
And
market.
you're absolutely right, and that's why certain dealerships might not even want to have this
But
CBR.
let's look at the
250 on their
reality of
floor.
this.
Yeah.
The kids that are buying it,
Right.
what's going to pull more tail? The Honda or the Yamaha?
Neither.
Neither, yeah, honestly, yeah.
Well, yeah, but they don't know that yet.
Right.
I'm saying
they don't know
Super
that
Cub.
yet. Right, exactly. No, it's going to be the R3 with the R1 sticker on it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know,
Right.
though. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't know what it takes to muster as a millennial today or as a young person
I have
today.
no idea.
Nick
But
does. Nick
I certainly
knows
think
everything.
that actually.
I have no idea.
He's
honestly.
virtually married and he collects antique Italian cars. He's virtually 93 years old.
Well,
Right,
he might be
honestly.
older than any of us.
I rode here on a 66 Super Hawk.
Exactly.
I have no fucking clue.
Realistically, of all the people
I mean,
in the room,
dude.
he might be the oldest guy here.
And-
the quintessential question here,
Yeah.
though, is does a man capable of riding on two wheels
Right.
pull tail or not?
I don't
Is
know.
it attractive to the female species?
No,
or not?
not at all.
Absolutely
I
not.
disagree. I think there are some ladies out there like.
I think.
kinda
Well,
cool.
not the one that I
guy's
care
kicked.
about.
No, I think if you have a 90 good personality traits and you ride a motorcycle,
No, it's-
then it's
Then you're Steve McQueen.
And this goes back to what I've said before.
Or Steve Hoffert.
Or
I
Steve
saw a
Hoffert.
guy today.
Yeah.
And this is the epitome of it.
Right.
I saw a guy as I was filling up with gasoline because I'm afraid of the gas shortage.
How many bags did you fill?
No, I just decided to fill my car up.
Right.
But he was riding a Harley Davidson bagger, but he had the high bars and everything.
Yeah.
But his whole demeanor said, "I'm not getting laid anytime soon." He was bigger than me,
Right. Yeah.
but more awkward. Not wearing,
More awkward, not graceful.
not
the gazelle.
He wasn't carrying it well,
He
like I do.
He didn't have the 14-inch slong that you do.
He had small penis written all over him. His clothing was not, gray t-shirt and jeans like me.
Or ticks hanging off the back of your
He
head.
had
or
no
anything.
ticks. He had no ticks.
So wait, hold on.
But he did have he had high bars. He had high
Ticks or
bars.
dicks?
And he was wearing his loafers as he was riding. And I looked at that and I said, what you own does
This
not
could
make
be
you
me.
What you own does not make you cool.
No.
No matter how cool you think the bike is that you're riding, it does not make you cool.
So
You are what makes you cool.
right, and John is so
And when
cool.
you talk about women, and if they like cool guys or if they like nice guys, it doesn't matter what kind of car you have or whatever.
No,
It's you that they're interested.
right,
It's what's on the inside.
And so last night,
Well, it's not all of that. In
last
fact,
night-
women really like. Women do look at the outside quite a bit. They
Last night-
They care about your clothes. They care definitely about your shoes.
last night, 4 of us went to a bike night that Dan orchestrated, and
That
we had
says you're beating off, Steve.
a great assortment of bikes out front, from his Vespa to my 850 to your Versys to Chris's Janus to Nick's KZ 650 to the
Your
other guy had a
GS.
Triumph or something. What was the other? The yellow bike.
The Triumph Thruxton.
Thruxton, okay? And so we had this great diversity of bikes, and all these people were all hanging out. John shows up and throws his head down and throws his thing, and then ticks fly everywhere. Like, he just threw ticks at everybody. And, like, they were just, like, trying to suck our blood and drink our drinks. It was
If I
fucking
could throw
terrible.
about 100 ticks right now, I'd throw them at you.
It was like Pigpen.
But he blamed you. He blamed you. He said it's because Steve doesn't cut the grass at the fucking the thing.
You motherfucker.
Grass?
You motherfucker.
That's a bold statement.
You motherfucker.
I honestly did not see that bus coming, let alone see you throw him
me under the bus.
You are a snivelly little cocksucking motherfucker.
Dude, just fucked 2 of my friends at one time. Honestly, legit. Like, that was some goddamn Matrix shit.
Don't fuck with the sea, dude.
Fucked 2 people at one time. What
What
an
I
asshole.
said was that I was weed whacking some bullshit that had never probably been weed whacked before, and that's probably where guess where the ticks are gonna be? Where shit never gets fucked with. I fucked with shit, and I ended up getting ticked. It is hilarious though that I got ticked right after we had a conversation about
Ticks. No, I was saying that I mow. I this one plant I go to, the people never mow. So the grass is this tall.
Yeah.
And the ticks like tall grass, and they jump right on you. So every time I go there, I have to de-tick myself.
At the shit plant, where are the ticks?
there are none.
Where the shit never gets fucked with.
At the shit plant.
No, at our
The
plant,
plant. I can show you a picture right now that I sent to Nick this morning. because I edged the sidewalks and everything, and I was buffing his penis a little bit. I sent him a picture this morning.
He fucking legit landscaped the fucking.
He manscaped.
I can show you a picture where Nick lowered the mower and like the grass is perfectly groomed. The sidewalks are perfectly edged. There are no places where there is high grass and ticks living.
You would think.
Did he use the lawnmower 4.0?
Seriously,
We
a
live the
fucking
grasshopper.
putting green.
We have the mower that we use is a diesel-powered grasshopper. That 2 diesel. I mean, we have anything you need to care for your fucking lawn.
0 turn, 2 0 turn.
Two 0 turns, a John Deere with fucking pull
poo into
hydraulics.
not poo.
The grass at my plant looks like a legitimately looks like a golf course.
I've been there. It looks like a golf course.
It's a golf
It's
course.
amazing.
And there's no
Well, a
smell.
shit golf course,
There's no
but-
smell. Your plant is amazing.
For the
Both
record,
of you guys.
It looks like Manakiki for Christ's
it does. It does. It
I
looks
got
like
married
fucking
there the first
Manakiki.
time.
It does. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, which is a discount golf course
Which
on the
is
east side.
literally it's amazing views of Squires
I got
Castle.
married there the first
I
time.
had my prom
Yeah,
there.
the first time. There you go. Yeah, what a discount that was, huh?
I had my prom there. It is not LP compatible.
My first wedding, I got married, and I was we had a reception at Manakiki, and so there was a downstairs that was closed off to our party, but I went down
the
there,
chicks
and,
were down
and there
there.
was a bachelor party, so I ended up hanging out with the stripper and all these fucking guys at the bachelor party at my fucking wedding
I
reception.
wonder why that one went south.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Couldn't see that shit coming.
No,
geez,
you know.
oh,
yeah,
geez.
yeah.
Holy fuck. So do you want to do something other than rat fuck these two guys?
Yeah, right.
All right, all right.
I never liked them anyway. Fuck these two idiots.
Hey, you want to hear a joke?
Fucking dick.
Always want to hear a
Yes.
joke. Fuck yeah, dude.
So 2 cowboys are out on the range talking about their favorite sex positions. One says, I think I enjoy the rodeo position the best. I don't know that I've ever heard of that one, says the other cowboy. What is it? Well, it's where you get your girl down on all fours and you mount her from behind. Then you reach around and you cup her tits and you whisper in her ear, boy, these feel almost as nice as your sister's. then you try to hold on for 30 seconds.
Yep. There you go. That's the rodeo.
The most politically incorrect podcast
Podcast
there ever was.
Absolutely.
Brought to you by Manscaped.
So and
Lawnmower 4.0.
exactly. And another
Safe skin technology.
That's exactly it. Yep. You know what? He was.
You know
50
what? And I-
he was
and I-
52, but he had the balls of a 12-year-old.
So that last joke I tried out on Mrs. Smith, she laughed her ass off. So
That's I was like, what do
God
you?
bless a woman with a sense of humor.
Yeah. What do you call the rodeo? What do you call the rodeo? I don't know. When you're fucking your girlfriend, you call her your sister's name by mistake.
Right.
Right. That's it. So, who else brought a news story tonight? Because that was the homework.
I did.
Okay. Nick DeVito, you're to my left, so you're first.
Yes. The Harley Davidson.
Oh shit. Okay. Anyway,
I'm going to go smoke a cigarette.
Hold on.
Let's give the kid.
skip to the next
Give
one.
the kid a
Here's
chance.
the thing.
All right.
Here's the thing. And I'm imparting my own bias into it because
Okay.
I'm not a Harley Davidson fan.
You're not even like bike curious.
Excuse me, before that bottle of arrogant bastard goes away, I'd like another little sip. I mean, I don't think it's too much
Did
to ask.
Did you consult with Cam on this?
I did not. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. All right, I'll let this shindig. Oh God, Jesus.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I wouldn't have thrown that to anybody else at this table, but I know John. Brown
Happy-
fucking liquor.
Happy 50th birthday.
All right.
to Steve
So,
Cinch, by
podcast
the way.
listeners.
Yes.
So, where are we at on the thing? 2 minutes.
2 hours and 30
2
minutes.
hours and 30
we
minutes.
We killed the bottle.
We killed the bottle, and more
my
importantly,
God.
we have just literally pulled the emergency handle on John McElfresh.
Yes,
Oh, so you know what I have to say? Two things. One, the podcast is only 2 hours long.
Right.
So
we're 30 minutes
This
past
happened
that.
way too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good. All right, go ahead.
Oh, I forget what
Just
I was
before
saying.
before he starts wrestling with you. Yeah, go ahead.
Harley, the certified pre-owned.
I was breaking in a new guy today.
Oh God!
We were pulling raw, and I taught him how to say raw.
Wow.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, you didn't use lube on the guy, or is that?
Harley Davidson,
He just went raw.
Trevor doesn't require lube.
instead of coming out with
You said coming.
reasonably priced motorcycles has come out with a new new certified pre-owned program so that if you cannot afford a new Harley Davidson,
Right.
well, we've got a pre-owned
5 years old.
Harley Davidson
Yep. For $7
with your name
less.
on it.
For $7
Exactly.
less.
Yes, for only $17,000.
No, seriously?
you could
Pre-enjoyed.
own.
It's the Lexus certified fucking sales thing that like Harley was like.
Are
we
you
invented
interrupting
this.
Nick again?
No, I'm
Let
saying.
Nick finish up,
I'm
for Christ's
saying.
sake.
No,
Like,
I want to know, Nick. See, what's the price like differential? Is it really like that little of a difference between the
Here's
new
the thing.
price and the used price?
Here's the thing, Steve.
Isn't it?
I don't know. I only know that I don't like Harley, so I'm going to say fuck Harley.
Thank you. Thank you. For God's sake.
And that's a
thank
legit thing. We talked about this. We brought this up, and we for the record, if you guys do, every once in a while, accidentally, a blind squirrel finds a nut in the ClevelandMoto Podcast, and I did come across some insider information about in podcast. I think it was number 91 or 92. I mentioned that Harley Davidson had been accumulating these traded-in motorcycles, and they were saying if Steve came in or Nick came in with their dilapidated, 7-year-old motorcycle, they would say, you know what, I'm going to give you more than that bike is worth on Blue Book. So you'll buy the new Street Glide that we have way too many of. And so they were giving people way too much money on their trade-ins, and they were sequestering these bikes in a giant warehouse just so that Jochen Zeitz, their new CEO, could come up with programs to stimulate Harley Davidson.
do you think they did
Buyers.
that?
New sales?
Do you think?
He's stimulating the new sales.
Do you think they did that with knuckleheads and shit, where they sucked them up to make them kind of like whatever?
I
and then
should hope
hipsters
so.
are like, I
But
can't
here's the
find
problem.
them.
So here's the trick right now. John brought it up earlier when he said, but where do you find these used bikes? But where do you find a bike you can afford? And this is true. So Harley Davidson did this certified pre-owned thing, and we knew this was coming. If you listen to our podcast, you knew this was coming a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But we were waiting for the other shoe to drop. Now it's happening. So now you can go to your Harley Davidson dealer, and instead of buying a brand new 2021 Basket Weave 2000, you can buy a fucking 1999 Street Glide that has been lightly used by somebody else who traded it in and ultimately thought they were winning when they were losing, when they said, but if you can make my payments only $300 a month, I'll take it in the ass. I'll take the bike. So that's what happened with this situation. They ended up with a lot of trade-in vehicles. What this means, though, is a Harley Davidson dealer has to now make a decision. Am I going to sell Chris a 2-year-old pre-owned bike, or am I going to sell Chris the 2021 that I need to sell a certain number of to get my bonus numbers or my financing? So these bikes will be financed through Honda dealers or Harley dealers. Go ahead, Chris.
So don't they take those trade-in bikes, just liquidate them back through the secondary market,
So they don't.
the auctions
So
and
yes,
stuff?
we used to. So that was a big thing. I'd go to these auctions all over the place, and we'd go and we'd see thousands of motorcycles, and 75% of them were Harley Davidsons. But by Harley Davidson keeping their own assets and pulling these bikes in as trade-ins, what they're saying is, okay, we've got control of these now. If I can't sell you a new bike because you don't have the buying power, the capital to buy a brand new bike, I can entice you. And some of these numbers, as Nick's alluding to, are frightening because it's like $1,000 less than the MSRP on a brand new bike.
Right.
But because it's certified pre-owned and they've done a 97-point rectal inspection of the bike and they say that it's as good as it is, then they're going to let you finance it through the Harley dealer at a discount and a perceived better deal. But I'm going to warn you guys, we talked about third-party financing in a couple of episodes ago. And ouch, right? Third-party financing is another way for why does my butt bleed? Right, exactly.
Well,
and
what about
aren't they ultimately nailing that guy who can't afford the big one?
Yeah.
Into a Harley Davidson.
exactly
that,
right.
Here's the thing. As a millennial, and I don't talk a whole lot as a millennial on this podcast.
Not on that old ass motorcycle.
You don't register as a millennial.
As a millennial,
Say
for the third time.
I own a car to get me to and from work.
get Nick an Uber.
Now, hold on. That's a sexy car.
Not my point.
But don't you race that too?
Yeah, also not my point. Here's the thing. As a millennial, not me, but as a...
already makes you not a millennial because
You race cars.
Okay,
you race cars.
Here we go. As a millennial, I have a car.
Right.
It's a Hyundai.
Right.
I have a house.
Right.
It's a Hyundai.
It's just a
But
house.
your car two steps.
All right. Okay.
Keep going, Nick. Keep going.
I'm losing the audience.
Power
but
through.
As a
Okay,
millennial,
boomer.
there's three things that I care about.
Okay.
1, car, getting to work.
Right.
2, house I live in.
Right.
3, hobbies.
Right.
I do not want to spend more than $5,000
Right.
on a motorcycle.
A motorcycle. Absolutely.
So
There's no reason to be honest with you. Most of the
honestly,
time.
there is no reason
Right.
to.
Yeah.
So when Harley comes out with this certified pre-owned program where you could buy a Harley, you know, this is their instead of having a budget line, this is what they want to do. Honestly, that's kind of insulting.
Well, on top of that, did they address the problems that we have talked about extensively throughout the podcast with some of these bikes with their fucking plastic valve trains and all the other shit? Like, did they address that? Like when
Chain
you,
tensioners.
yeah,
and-
right. When you buy, so like,
Right.
are
That
they
is
set-
not the target market.
And
though.
that isn't the target market. You're
You know,
exactly right.
and Nick's exactly right. And Nick, you're a millennial, but you're also a motorcyclist.
Right.
And so you've got a jaded view of Harley Davidson, whereas Harley Davidson spent a ton of money building a brand and some alliance to that brand. So I think that it would work for millennials who are doing well and have expendable cash to go in and spend $17,000 on a certified
Well,
pre-owned.
and also you can afford anything with a payment. So if anybody looks at this program and says, "Oh yeah, I could afford a Harley Davidson for this amount of money, and it's only going to cost me this amount of money per month," then absolutely.
True.
As the joke we say around the shop here, look at these fucking millennials walking around like they rent the place.
Right.
And like that's what it comes down to is a lot of mentality, a lot of millennial mentality, or I hate to be that. Just there's a lot of people who exist in a world where they say, you know what? I know what my Netflix costs. I know what my phone costs. I know what my
They think monthly. They don't think long
monthly.
term.
Right. And so if you can
And maybe I'm bold to say this, but I think I know more than the average millennial
Absolutely.
about motorcycles.
Well-
And that I know that you can get more value per money anywhere else other than Harley Davidson.
Right,
Of
but,
course.
but you're also like you're not assuming anything. I'm sorry, but like you're not typical of the people of your age where like they're like, I don't want to work on it. I don't want to touch it. I just want to know how much it's going to cost me a month to own or do this thing.
Then again, I will spend any amount of money to get my Honda Superhawk to charge its freaking battery.
using legit
And
Russian space program technology
But that-
to make sure that his battery is
That statement
Sputnik
alone,
2000.
there's a million millennials that just kick you out of the club,
Right.
Because you're
And,
not.
and
that.
it's true that he is marketing resistant.
Right.
Like he is not a traditional dyed in the wool as what we'd say. Because if he was a fucking legitimate millennial, he wouldn't last 5 seconds here.
No.
He would hate us and fuck off and move on.
Right.
And he'd be sitting on his phone right now playing his Minecraft or whatever.
Instead, let's look at the reality of this.
Yeah.
He's looking at like 7 to 8 men that are out of shape and broken and mostly alcoholic.
Speak for
going
yourself.
like, I want to be this guy.
No, he brought the oldest bike here. He straight up rode up in the goddamn Model T.
Yeah.
Like he showed up in the bike we talked about when we were right about what is the best bike overall, which is any Superhawk.
Right,
How do you
right.
know it's the best bike? Because he rode one here
Rode
tonight
one
from
here today.
Acorn.
Yep.
Right? So the
With
fact
the
that
I rode an hour here
You rode
with
an hour.
not being able to make a proper right-hand turn.
and bump started the fucker.
Right, because
So,
his his Kickstarter was at 180 degrees opposite of
straight
where
down.
it should be.
Look, it has a priapism and it pointed in the wrong way. So his kickstart, I looked over and I was like, kickstand on the left. What's that on the right? It's an extra kickstand. No, it's his Kickstarter. He's so strong. He kicked his Kickstarter clean through.
Right.
And if you know anything about Superhawks, they kick backwards.
Right.
So they kick forwards, which is backwards. So the Kickstarter on a Superhawk kicks the wrong way. And he kicked it so hard, he kicked it into the, what do they call that? the upside down.
Twilight Zone.
No, he kicked it into the upside down.
Right.
He kicked it into the upside down, and it worked still.
Well, here's the thing: is
Fuck that.
Stranger Nicks.
at the gas station about halfway here? At the gas station about halfway here,
Right.
I kicked it to get it started again.
Right.
It did not start.
Yeah.
The kickstart got forced straight down.
It literally went to the ground straight.
And it got stuck there.
Yeah. It did.
So what was
confirm.
what was your solution? You just push start the
Well,
bitch.
yeah,
He bump started it. Do you
it.
know why? Not
smart.
a millennial.
Right.
Well, I wasn't gonna miss the podcast.
No, he wasn't. And he wasn't going to
First
push
things first.
And he wasn't going to push the bike 15 miles home like he
reason-
normally does.
Reasons Nick is not a millennial. He owns a Super Hawk.
Also
Well,
He thinks like a human being.
and I won't
And
ask
he'll push
anybody to
start the
help
bike.
me
He'll
when my
never ask
Super
me.
Hawk
Right.
breaks.
It is like straight. I will ask you for help if you're smarter than me.
Right.
So if you're not smarter than me, I'm not going to ask you for
And
help.
there's not a lot of people that are smarter than Nick.
No,
here's
he
the-
showed up
here's
and
the
he
thing.
asked the two people
Well,
who
yeah.
are both legitimately
That's the thing.
at this table qualified to work on Super Hawks. He asked both of us, and what did we do? The shortest distance between 2 points. Take the Kickstarter off. Rotate it 70 degrees, reinstall it, tighten the shit out of the pinch bolt, and give it to boot. And you know what it did?
It started.
Fucking started. You know why? Fucking Super Hawks are legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60-year-old motorcycle.
And you know what it
I mean,
said? I don't
And that's
care
why
which.
it's in the list.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
that's why it was
That's
our best
true.
pick.
That's true.
And it's
We
the
could
only
talk for days
motorcycle.
about the reverse kick and all the gears and everything and how a Kickstarter works and
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when your Kickstarter is facing the ground, take it off and make it face the sky.
Make it face the sky again.
And my worst case scenario was I was going to ride it to the podcast and then just use a 13 millimeter
Exactly.
wrench to take the kickstart
And put it in
lever
your pocket.
off.
Put it in your pocket and bump start it like a man.
Yeah, exactly.
Dustin Elliott.
Right.
When Dustin built his CB350.
Oh.
Yeah, right? When Dustin built his CB350, Dustin took the fucking electric starter off and put it in a box.
Yeah.
Plug the hole.
Plugged the goddamn hole.
It's got a man starter on
That's what he said. It's got a man
But
starter.
there's Dustin. Dustin's a cool guy. Like
Well,
that.
okay, but-
Yeah.
And while he's running his he went and bought some Akunis for it.
Yeah.
Took off the original.
Oh, he got his
carbs.
flat slides on and the whole deal.
Well, it wasn't quite running perfectly.
Not
Didn't
quite.
want to installed it every fucking light. How's your man starter doing for you now, buddy?
That guy got so
Everybody
proficient.
just took off, and now you're fucking trying to find neutral and kickstart the fucker.
He was so good at bump starting that CB350. The dude could bump start it backwards. Like he was straight up. He could roll it out of a parking lot backwards and bump start it.
We wanted to call him Daffy because he was so good to duck walking
Duck
that
walking.
thing into a start.
Dude, it was. We would all leave the light and we'd look in the rearview mirror and we'd see Dustin's legs flailing wildly, bump starting a CB350.
Try to fuck start your CB350.
Exactly.
You know what? You know what? As a millennial who doesn't give a shit about motorcycles
But loves
not
eating
working
ass.
right, but I
But
really,
thanks for thinking.
I really wish my Super Hawk still had working electric start.
Yes, absolutely.
And it can.
It can, yes.
It can.
And I don't know what has killed your electric start, but I know what killed my electric start.
Yeah.
What killed your electric start?
So the starter spray. So you have the starter spray clutch on the back of the flywheel.
Yep.
And it has 3 panhead bolts, and they usually come loose when they come in contact. And when they get loose, though, it lets the starter sprag housing, which holds the springs and the 3 rollers, then that cracks.
Yep.
Mine cracked. And so then you just have to. I took my flywheel off. I gutted it.
Wow,
I made
you've
it
had-
kickstart only.
You've had limited experience with these bikes, apparently.
Yes.
Yes.
Very limited experience.
As we can all tell you, if you've ever owned a Super Hawk.
I don't know where you are with your electric start,
Yeah.
but that's what happened with mine.
Well, for me, really, it's just the starter motor is dead.
No, the motor itself is actually kaput.
Yeah, and I bought a replacement
Right.
that worked for about 2 minutes,
Right.
and it's dead.
Have you thought of a brushless motor conversion? Come
Honestly-
on, man.
honestly-
I mean, realistically, what you should do is take the motor off, take it apart, clean it,
Yeah.
run a hacksaw blade in between the communicator, the little copper commutators,
Yeah, the commentators. Yeah.
and then put it back together, and then put it all with new brushes. You can buy a rebuild kit.
Well, but is your
Throw the rebuild kit at it,
Yeah.
and then hook it up to a jump box or something like that, and just let it spin freely for like 15,
burn it.
20 minutes.
Yeah, let it run, man.
Just
Let it run.
Let it bed itself back
it hunt.
in and install it back on the bike.
When you bought the new starter for
Yes.
your Super Hawk, when you bought the new starter, was it
wouldn't have been a new starter.
No, that's my question.
It was a different starter.
It was a different
That's
starter.
my point,
Yes.
is it was a different starter.
Yes.
Because the motor that we put on your bike after Chris blew it up. So Chris blew it up the first time when it had its original motor in it. And then we took the motor out of the red bike, which was a sweet-ass motor. And we took that motor out and put it in your bike, the bike that you now have. And so...
It's a sweet-ass motor.
It's a sweet-ass motor.
But it doesn't electric start.
Are we going full disclosure on that
Yeah,
motor?
go ahead.
So that motor, I actually had it apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
That motor, when it came through here, the cam was out of index.
Yep.
And that bike wouldn't run.
It wouldn't run.
So I actually, I was like, it feels like, don't take it apart. I'm like, it's got to come
That's
apart.
what I said, yep.
I'm like, and it took me all of about 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
to totally take that motor out of the bike, take the top end
John
off.
yoinked it down like that.
I looked in the spark plug hole, which we've talked before.
We talked about it before.
The valves are not working at the right time.
Right.
Took it apart, put it back together. Fucker fired on one.
Yeah,
kick.
John was like, this motor's out of index. That's the only complaint with that thing. Because the bike had this really kick-ass patina.
Yeah.
So the bike had this beautiful patina, like it was just like Texas even patina. And I was like, this
It had
motor...
been painted, and then it had
Yep.
been repainted again, and then it sat out in Texas, and it kind of crackled up.
Bingo.
And it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. And I was like, this motor doesn't have a lot of miles on it. Somebody fucked this bike up. And John was willing to go in and pull the top end and straight up re-index the top end. And because he was willing to do that, we resurrected a motor that didn't have very many miles on it. And so that's the Sweetheart motor. That was the bike that we were going to use as a race bike. So we thought it'd be a fun ARMA bike because there aren't too many super sports running in ARMA, Superhawks running in ARMA. And I was like, this is a pretty good platform for us to take everything and just go straight OEM with it and just build it as a period correct race bike. And then Chris blew his motor up. And then when Chris blew his motor up, we were like, we need a motor real quick.
Right.
And rather than taking his blown up motor, which was legit blown up, we decided to take...
Well done, Chris.
I'm an overachiever.
Yeah, you
Okay, John, Chris blew that motor up. Like, that motor was legit cooked.
And he used way too much teeth. The motor was very upset.
No, it was more like... It was...
I can tell you this right now.
Yeah.
I could blow my motor up
Yep.
in my Superhawk pretty easily.
Easily. Yep.
But I know that when I go, I've taken it out on the highway, and sure, it'll do pretty nice. It's happy at 55.
Would you
60.
say that you were going 70 miles an hour or greater when that motor popped?
No, probably 60.
60? Right.
I was at 72 when I burned a hole in my right piston.
Right. Exactly. And how long do you think you had driven?
Yeah.
Like, did you drive 20 miles or did you drive 30 miles or 50 miles?
Drove from Route
Like 58?
611
611. Okay. Yeah.
back
right.
to Rocky River.
Yeah. So 25, 30 miles.
But I limped
Right.
Let me relate.
last.
Let me relate this little experience to you. When I one day thought I would ride over to Bruce's house
Right.
on my Superhawk on the highway. And I took it out on the highway.
Yep.
I can tell you right now, my Superhawk has a slapping piston.
Yep.
I know that there are.
We
some
know
issues
it's doing that.
going
Yeah.
on in there.
Right.
And I took it out on the highway, and I took it up to 55.
Yep.
Then I took it up to 65.
Yep.
Then I took it up to 70.
Absolutely.
And then I said, then I was starting to hear weird sounds. Then I took it down to 65.
Right.
Then I took it back down to 60.
Right.
And I was still hearing weird sounds.
Yep.
All the way to Bruce's house.
It was done. Yep.
And when I got off the exit at Bruce's house, after
Yep.
riding at about 60 mile an hour,
Yep.
it was going.
Yep. It was finished.
And I rode to Bruce's house, and I, did my thing. When I came home, I rode home at 60 miles an hour.
Yep. Yeah.
The bikes were made to go 100 mile an hour, and I'm sure it would go 100
Chris's
mile an
bike
hour.
in the original motor went 100 miles an hour because I did it on 237,
Yeah.
and I hit that bump by the airport at 100 miles an hour on the Superhawk. And now, that's not GPS confirmed. That's indicated. So we all know that's bullshit. It's probably 92 or something like that. But I hit that thing, and that bump woke my ass up because the suspension was 1966.
I gotta say,
But I've come to the realization that
Yeah.
now my Superhawk, and especially when I went through my Superhawk, when my buddy bought it
Yeah.
many years ago,
Yeah.
and then I bought it back from him, and nobody's gone through it and adjusted the valves,
Right.
adjusted the timing,
Yep.
cleaned the carbs,
Yep.
done everything that you should do to a bike that's been in operation for
Yep.
now almost 20 years.
You got it.
Since I first resurrected it from the original owner.
Right.
That when I give it full throttle,
Yeah.
when I give it throttle and I give it some more, and then all of a sudden I give it more throttle, but it doesn't seem to go anymore.
It doesn't go anymore.
I know that something's wrong.
That's
and
right.
I need to give it less throttle.
Less throttle, and then it goes faster.
I need to come it right back into that little comfort. So it's like
when you give it less throttle, it goes faster.
I know only from a lot of experience, and it's not. I'm not trying to shame you, Chris.
No worries.
I only know that there's a certain point where I know where if I go too hard and it starts it gets hispy.
Right.
That's where shit's going to go bad eventually.
Well, there is.
I know
something
where to come
say.
back into the sweet spot and just hang there.
However, Chris, the day after I bought your Super Hawk,
Right.
I put a new battery in it, and I rode it probably over 100 miles up through up to the east side of Cleveland, up along the Shoreway and to the west side and down back to Akron. And on the highway, I think I did hit like an indicated 100 miles per hour. So
You told me about it after you did it.
well, and also I passed the ClevelandMoto truck.
Right.
It was
I was literally Sparky's driving the truck, and he's like, Super Hawk just went by me at an incredible rate of speed. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Nick. And he's like, are you sure it was a Super Hawk? And he's like, absolutely. It was. And Sparky was like, it's Chris's Super Hawk. And I was like, well, was it wearing neon? And he goes, no, it wasn't wearing neon. I was like, that's Nick. He's like, he was going 1,000 miles an hour. And I was like, okay, all right. So we have verification. That bike was, because that red motor was hot. That red motor was a super hot motor once you dialed it in. And so going 100 on it was exactly what Soichiro Honda
indicated.
Yeah, it's what Soichiro Honda meant for the bike to do. But he didn't mean, well, I don't know if he meant for it to do that 60 years later, right? Yeah. Some of the ponies are expected to leave the stable.
That bike is best being a nice tootle around town.
Yeah.
Now, if I took my Super Hawk,
Yeah.
and I took the top end down,
Yeah.
and I honed it out,
Yeah.
or I put new pistons, rings, and everything, and rebuilt it from the top, did a whole new top end rebuild, re-cleaned my carburetors, reset my valves, did everything, and restored it back to its prime pristine, I would certainly feel more comfortable doing 70, 80, 90, 100 miles an hour on it.
I have a Honda
But I know
Dream right
now that it is not
It ain't
that
to
bike
do it.
anymore.
Dude, I have a Honda Dream.
And there's, for some reason, my bike
Yeah.
is fantastically louder than your bike.
It is way
That's
louder.
true.
Even though both of our bikes have the baffles pulled
Identically.
out.
However, I have just recently replaced the little rubber seals that go between the head pipes
Yep.
and the muffler.
I feel
mufflers.
that might be
Yeah.
a problem.
That's a big problem.
I
yeah.
put the new seals on
Those
mine.
are silicone.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it actually made my bike louder.
Huh. Well, your bike
not-
sounds nice.
I'm not really sure why, but
I will not ride my Honda Dream any way, shape, or form, any way like
On
I
a
would
good
ride.
day, your Honda Dream would do 80 mile an hour.
Look, I won't ride it the same way I rode my Super
it
Hawk.
should really not be ridden more than 55.
I had.
And you guys were busting my balls about wanting to buy a 400, and you guys are fucking like, this bike won't even go 70 miles an hour.
well, this is a 305.
Okay, so we gotta. You're the type of person that's got to bring it all back to you.
Wow. All right, so
My ego.
Dan,
is
did you bring a
huge.
news story?
Yeah, this is a great one. Did you hear Brembo has a new motorcycle?
Is this going to be a 3.5 hour podcast?
No,
It
it's
is.
actually no, but I know the story. The news story is really
The
good.
new G Santa
255.
motorcycle brake caliper. First look. What do you think is special about this brake caliper?
Brembo. What's magic about the new brake caliper?
It's a 4-piston caliper.
Nope.
It uses human skin as the.
Braking medium.
It is not aluminum. It is made out of forged stainless steel.
I have no idea, but no.
Yeah, that's
What is it?
It's ABS.
It has LEDs built into it.
That's good.
It is absolutely absolutely hilarious. Brembo. So guys who know Brembo and J1. So J1 brakes, J-J-U-A-N.
Yeah.
So Brembo just officially made it official that J1 and Brembo are the same thing now.
And that was on what, zeros and stuff, right?
Oh, everything. Yeah.
Did Brembo buy? I said Braywan. Did Brembo buy a J1 or did J1 buy Brembo?
No, Brembo
bought
paid,
J1?
Yeah, Brembo paid for J1. And so J1s have been used on all kinds of stuff all over. And Brembos have been used on all kinds of stuff all over. And then there's Indian Brembos, which are not Brembos, but they're made for Brembo in India.
And then there's eBay Brembos, which are plastic covers that go over your normal brakes.
That say Brembo on the side.
Are the Indian Brembos covered with cow shit?
They smell like it, though. I can tell you that. We have a lot of experience with those. So, yes, Brembo is all over the place now, but Brembo did purchase J1. Okay. So now bringing them into the same tent, as it so to speak. But you're right. They do have LED emitters. So they built LEDs into the goddamn calipers.
What purpose does the... I'm trying to wrap my
I think they said that it could flash error codes or something.
Yep, that's what they said. And here's what's crazy.
So there's a wire coming somewhere from your battery to those calipers.
No, they
are self-energizing.
They're self-energizing.
So you think so
I'm rusty.
So what I have to assume. So if you told me to design a caliper that had LEDs that would be energized not by the bike's battery, but by the brake system itself.
Yep, you got it.
I would throw a neodymium magnet into the disc that passed past some sort of coil that created energies that would then light up those LEDs based on some parameter.
Yep, you got it.
That if the brake pads got too close, they made contact. They closed that circuit, and an LED lit up.
But they're closing the circuit every time they touch the disc.
But they're illuminated for awesomeness.
Are they illuminated all the time?
I'm going to tell you.
Are they
like green when they're good, and then they turn red when they're bad?
Or are they just blue because it looks good?
Dan.
Little boy blue.
I don't think it really
needs the money.
It legitimately said it will flash error codes, and that's as far as the story went.
Now you're talking flashing, so that means that there's some logic.
There's some logic in there.
So there's a chip. There's a board.
Well, and there's also laws that say that you can't have certain colors and certain flashes.
Exactly. Here's an interesting thing: if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's,
Homo Depot,
that's just Home Desperate,
right. No deprecation.
Exactly. Here's what I'm saying.
Homo.
My wife and I had to replace the sink in the bathroom not long ago. And so I'm looking through all the faucets in the bathroom. We have very few rules about what kind of faucets we can have. But I noticed that one of the faucets, when you turned the faucet on, blue light came through the water.
Oh, yes, I've seen those. Does it change color when it's hot?
Nope, it was $5 more.
Yeah, that's UVC. It's actually sterilizing the water.
So I got for $5 more than the regular faucet. I paid $5 more, and I got a faucet that when you turn it on, blue light comes out on your hands.
They have a bidet with like brown light. I don't know.
You said
I would also pay more for that.
I heard comes on your hands.
So yes, so now in my bathroom, if you're at my house and you go to the bathroom and you wash your hands will be illuminated by beautiful blue light as you're doing it.
Phil, how is it powered?
Thank you for asking that, Nick. I could not understand the way this thing was powered because I was like, thank you. How do they power this fucker? So I took it apart because in my house, if I don't understand something, I take it apart. Don't ask my cat about that.
I did it with my wife, and now I'm getting arrested.
Exactly. My cat is very angry about me, but now I know how a cat works.
So my neighbor is the guy who developed the self-flushing toilets. He lived beside us for a period of time.
He was like, somebody needs to flush these goddamn
at one point
toilets.
He was like,
McElfresh, flush your toilet.
For fuck's sake, man, flush your toilet.
No, I mean,
your bowl is proud.
When you see the Sloan, his last name is Sloan. He developed the self-flushing toilets that you see at every truck stop.
Right.
That when you walk away, they flush themselves.
Of course they do.
This guy engineered that shit. And very quickly,
it's a little tiny camera that's looking at your dick.
We're moving away. Goodbye. He made a lot of money.
Of course he did. Yeah, so I got this stupid thing, and you're right, thank you, about the water turbine. So I was wondering, I was like, how often do we need to replace the batteries in our water fountain? Because again, batteries, look, they sell you the cool toy, they make the money on the batteries, right? We know that. That's how vibrators work. The whole industry is based on buying batteries. So Energizers, the money behind every
Once
toy.
you get hooked,
If you're brave
you can't
enough.
go back.
Exactly.
If you're brave enough.
So I took the goddamn thing apart, and when I took it apart, I realized there ain't a goddamn battery in it. Not a button cell, not a nothing. Nothing. No batteries. Why? Because what you said is exactly right, Steve. It has a little tiny turbine in it. If you're not impressed right now, you should be impressed.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Inside the thing that I use to get poop off my hands is a tiny, 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 tiny electro turbine that makes electricity into LED illumination and makes the water turn blue. And when I put my hands under it, is an adequate amount of light to light up the entire bathroom to let me know where to put my hands to wash them at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, and that is really super impressive because that is an added feature that is no cost to you. It is using the water pressure out of the
spigot.
The spigot, yeah. Exactly.
Which, if they could do that to a toilet, I'd probably stop pissing on the floor at 3 a.m.
Exactly.
Fucking day.
Right.
You know?
If the energy of lifting the lid.
Au contraire. You only flush the toilet after you've pissed. Come on, my man.
I'm saying
It's a
if they
proximity
had,
sensor.
if they
So,
had,
I'm going to flush the toilet to light up the lights so that I can piss. So that I can flush the
the
toilet.
toilet, every time it flushed, it restored the energy to
John,
a battery, and you lifted the lid, it would
Now
light
you're
up.
adding a battery, you motherfucker.
No, it's a capacitor.
It's a battery
It's an
that
ultra
has to
capacitor.
last the amount of time.
There you go.
So
That was
now we're
damn
going to
good.
get into this fucking realm
Okay.
because we all know that the Batpack capacitor does not fucking work.
How often do you
Okay.
pee,
For
Steve?
LED
How often do you
would
pee?
Shut your
Pee a lot.
Shut your fucking hole!
No dairy twist for you.
Oh my God. All right. Steve, did you bring a news story?
I have two small ones. The first one is John's not getting dairy twist tomorrow.
The fuck you
Did
say?
you hear about the farmer who took a rake to the nutsack?
No.
He woke up, he had 2 acres. Go ahead.
40%.
Shut your fucking hole!
Oh boy.
We're gonna have to edit that out.
Yeah, thank you for that,
man.
John.
Why do you want to give him more work?
So
I work
40
45 hours a week plus this shit, dude. Come on.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
gonna get lectured by you.
Hold on. Let the turd herder talk.
40% of the people that buy electric vehicles go back to gasoline vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely true. That's the thing.
Is that
And
right?
it's based
Huh.
on, and
Yep.
the demographics are mostly or more women
Yep.
and mostly more renters because they figure that they don't have access to a level 2 charger and the vehicles don't have the style, the range, or the ability to charge fast enough for their tastes.
Really?
I'm raising my hand.
Yes.
I'd like to speak because, interestingly enough, because for the compound,
As long as you do not shout.
I will not shut. I'll
But
talk
get
in a
your
regular.
pie hole into the mic, please.
Okay, I'm trying to
Or
talk.
just talk. Come on.
I mean, I thought that worked okay.
No,
I mean,
you're fine,
I
you're
thought
fine.
we have
Go
a
ahead.
sound
There you go.
engineer who can turn up levels and turn down levels and stuff like that. But okay, so for the compound, I was looking at some electricals to try to get electrical and try to set up like an RV setup. Mm-hmm. And so a 50 amp hookup to buy the plug is only like $17.
Oh.
So I don't understand why to get to a level 2, which would be a 50 amp hookup, would really be that big of a deal.
No, because it's a renter. They
Okay.
said that these people are renters, so that
Again-
their landlords wouldn't want to supply them with a...
Again, I'm a rentor, so
Are you paying Steve for parking your RV at his
actually
compound?
that's a conversation that Steve and I are going to have.
Oh, okay, I'm just asking.
About how we're going to get power from the house to my RV and who's going to pay for that.
Yeah, 'cause the
and
butt
how that's all
stimulator,
going to
yeah,
work
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, to get a 50 amp hookup for an RV or for your level 2 charger would cost about $17.
Oh, interesting.
So it would cost you $17.
It would cost me $17 because I could hook it all up and everything.
Yeah.
And I'd be able to plug my level 2
But you have to
charger
look
in.
at the drop. I mean, depending on how you do it, you have to look at the drop, the breakers. You have to put it in a breaker box.
I mean, we might be at $100.
I was going to say that
we might be
shit's-
at $100 to buy the 10 by 3 conductor wire to run a 220 line out to wherever your bike would sit, and then to put the
not
3-prong
expensive.
plug.
No, it's not.
And everything
I mean,
like that. I mean, I could do this fairly
Absolutely,
easily to get level. You could have that right out front here.
Shit, John
No
knows how
problem.
to turn 2-phase into 3-phase through
I
the
don't.
use of an electric motor.
I don't,
Right, you
I
could
don't
use
really
it.
know that.
Yeah, I thought we did. I think we talked about that
Yeah,
one
you
time.
can,
you
or you
can,
can
yes.
turn.
Yes, I
Yeah,
mean, well, actually, they actually have units that will turn 1-phase into 3-phase.
Into 3-phase, yeah.
Because it's basically an electric motor that turns 1-phase into 3-phase.
Absolutely.
3 hours and 6 minutes in case anybody's wondering.
Yes. All right.
My
so-
other news
It's
story
called
is very
it's a
simple.
rotary transformer. is
Rotary
what that is.
transformer, exactly.
It applies to everybody here. If you drink a lot, your chance of having a heart attack or stroke is 20% reduced.
Yes,
There's a new
thank-
study out.
Oh, hell yes.
So I figure that applies to everybody in this room.
Yeah, because you know what? When I
had a
drink,
stroke.
when I drink too much, there's absolutely no chance
you're
of me
the
getting a
exception.
stroke at all.
You need to drink more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we did good.
Well, they
We
said moderate
finished-
drinkers, which are more than what they recommend, which is 1 and 2, 1 for females, 2 for males.
Okay.
They only get a 10% boost,
Okay.
but people who drink more than that get a 20%
Heavy
boost.
drinkers?
They're not heavy.
Yeah. Moderate drinkers.
I consider myself
So wait a
binge
second.
drinker.
Dan somehow still managed to have a stroke. Somehow, Dan had a stroke. Legit. Dan's one of the best drinkers I know.
Yeah.
Quality, quantity. Dan's
Right.
a pro.
Can we discuss Dan?
There is hands down none better than Dan.
Dan is a great
Let's
drinker.
all give Dan.
Dan small hand. Exactly.
Can we discuss
great
Dan
take.
for a minute? Any brewery in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, that you walk into,
Yeah.
the owner's friends, whoever owes money to the owner,
Right. Yeah.
and other people all come out to greet Dan.
Yes.
Bring out beers that nobody else gets.
Right.
They're like, this is the normal menu. This is your menu.
When it
He is
comes
beer
Dan, man.
royalty.
Yeah,
when it comes
yeah.
to putting alcohol in your face,
Dan is the
Dan
fucking guy.
is a fucking goddamn guru.
Case in point.
last
Case in
night.
point.
Last night.
Noble Beast. We show up. My wife happened to say I'd like motorcycle ride
Right.
with a beer.
Right. And so Dan had
I
posted.
happened to see the text
And
messages
then
going back.
shortly after that, she shaved her snatch.
Well,
Manscaper 4.0 or
I'm not saying that's wrong. I mean, she did sometime. I don't know when, but
It was not a quid pro quo.
well, it was after I spent time with her and I told her she might want to bring it down a little bit just for you. I was trying to help you out.
you were sniffing around a little bit.
Yeah,
and you're like,
right.
But anyway, we went down to Noble Beast, and Peggy ran. I was on the bike I claimed that my mask fell out when we were riding down there. Turns out I really forgot to bring one. I was like, run in there and go see if they have a gratuitous mask. She came back out and said, there's no tables. I looked at my text messages, and Dan had already texted, we have a table for more than 8 people. Blah, 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 blah.
Right on, dude.
I'm like, go in there and give me a mask. We're going in.
Party on, Wayne.
She was kind of pissed at me. And I didn't tell her that I knew that some of my friends would already be there. Because if you tell her that, then it's going to be all...
It's not a spontaneous romantic event if your friends are holding a table for you.
You know what I mean? Like, at one point, it was like, well, we're done. We got to go someplace else.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, no, we don't.
Hold on, let me make a phone call.
I know
Dan Kromke.
Dan Kromke.
I got there after you guys got there and I was like, I'm trying to meet my friends. Like, who are you meeting? I'm like, well, there's a guy named Dan. Oh, Dan, he's right over here. No problem. And they moved people out of my way and they sat there.
The red carpet rolled out.
Right.
Exactly.
And then we sit down and we're all sitting there. Then like the owner's friend, 3 other people came out. They're like, oh my God, Dan. Oh, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Here's some beers that we don't even offer other people, but we'll offer them to you. Like, how's it going? Like,
I'm calling that waitress a little bit of a smoke show.
oh yeah. She was wearing like fucking like armor and shit on her because she fucked up so many dudes. I think she like, yeah, it was, there was a
Put
lot
me on
of.
a list of fucked up dudes.
That's amazing. Did you bring a news story?
I had a news story.
Shut
I made
that
some
bitch
news
out.
about it. I left them in my hoodie.
Okay.
The bottom line of my news story was about it was about a methodical troubleshooting. So when you're doing troubleshooting, this was a Cycle World article. You know, most people wouldn't read, but I'm into the whole thing.
Kevin Cameron, we appreciate
There you go.
we respect the engineering. Yeah.
You're smelling what I'm stepping on.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
But he was talking a little bit about how certain people in his life, although they weren't mechanics, they were excellent troubleshooters because they were methodical thinkers. For instance, like his mother. His father had been working on the car or whatever, and she came into the picture and was like, well, you know, she looked at the
The
situation.
babysitter's got axle grease on her tits.
Her car broke down. So rather than calling Papa-san, she went ahead and popped the hood.
Right.
She's a methodical thinker. Well, in reality, if my car is not working, there should be some physical display of it not working. So let me try to take a look at what is at the engine area.
Use my resources.
And what she found was, I have found a dangling wire.
Aha.
If I have a dangling wire, there must be a place where that wire should go. Mm-hmm. And upon further inspection, she found some place where that wire should go.
Right.
And so she placed that wire into
and
that
everything
place.
Worked.
And lo and behold, the car worked. So
well done. Yes.
There should be a method to your madness when you are working on your motorcycle or anything you're working on in your life in entirety.
Right.
Put yourself in the place of either a technician or maybe a scientist. In reality, when you were working on a motorcycle, you were conducting experiments.
Yep.
Each little process is an experiment in and of itself. So if you're trying to get spark, you're conducting various experiments that would indicate that would either get you spark or not get you spark.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So there are various things, one of the things that, and this article went into the accountant, these guys were working on a motorcycle and then an accountant came along and he came and was like, well, what I would do is I would pull all the fuses out and I would replace one in at a time. And when as I replaced them, when I got spark or when I got something to work.
Right.
So make sure that when you are working on something,
Process
you're trying to
elimination goes
troubleshoot
both ways.
something,
Yeah.
you are doing it in a methodical way. You don't want to do a number of things all at once. You don't want to clean your carbs, change your spark plug, set your timing, do all these things, and then start it up. Well, then you haven't really figured out what the problem was to begin with. So you want to do one process at a time and sort of empirically figure out what your problem is before you... Steve, you've got a question.
No, to your point, a huge thing, if your bike won't run, check all the fuses first. I had with my FZ09, like everything was cool. I went to ride with you guys and it wouldn't start. And I said, fuck it. And I took another bike. I came back and I'm like, what would cause this? And I went through everything and it was a fucking 30 amp fuse. Well,
that's a big one.
Yeah. The thing, but whatever. It was just like, so I went through all the fuses. I found one that wasn't, I replaced it. Boom. Started right the fuck
Well,
up.
my bike only has one fuse and when it blew, nothing worked.
Nothing works.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
so I'm just saying, like,
Do you know what you can
But-
replace that with? A quarter.
yeah,
Well, I did, and then it just broke everything
A
else.
22 caliber bullet.
But...
what I'm saying is like,
But as a methodical troubleshooter, you knew you blew a fuse.
Right.
So you could have gone and looked at the wiring schematic methodically.
Right.
You could have come at it with a very scientific approach, and you could have said, well, I know that all of the electrics are wired through one fuse, but I know that if I remove the headlight, that most of the electrics of the motorcycle come to the headlight, and that's where most of the connections are made.
Yeah.
So I could take apart electrical connections until I can start the bike and I don't blow a fuse.
Right.
And if I have a connection that I make and it blows a fuse, I know that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
It's in the turn singles.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's in the
Singles? Is that like cheese singles?
or it's in the rectifier that is the metal that's touching against the metal side cover on a Super Hawk
Absolutely.
and killing my bike.
Yep.
Does that sound familiar?
It sounds
Well,
like
I would say-
every single bike I've worked on.
Look for the burn marks.
Always look for the heat.
Well, so one of my tips for the methodical troubleshooter is when you've come to an impasse and you've come to a place where I've tried most of the options that I know, I always revert to start cleaning.
Yep.
So take a breather and just start cleaning your bike and going over your bike. Spray WD-40 on the wires and wipe them off. You'll be able to see what color they are.
Here's a cool thing.
Spray
When your bike worked last time your bike worked, and now, what's the only thing that changed? Your bike got dirtier. Mm-hmm. The bike was working, now it's not working. Mm-hmm. So what's changed between now and then? It got dirtier. If you clean shit, it's amazing when you clean shit. You're like, motherfucker wouldn't start before. Now it starts. What did you do? You literally cleaned crap. You took something that was creating an arc or
a ground fault short.
Exactly. And it's not anymore.
Let's say your neutral light is not working and you're cleaning your bike.
Yeah.
And you find that the neutral wire has worn through the insulation and is making contact.
Right. Shorting out.
And now your neutral light is not working. Yeah. That is something you will find by cleaning your bike. And cleaning your bike is just really code work for meticulously going over your bike.
Looking at shit.
And looking at little bits.
Inspecting stuff.
Like breaking it down and really focusing on each integral part of it.
Well, it's the reason the doctor doesn't ask you what's in your asshole, but instead sticks his finger in.
Mm-hmm. He's inspecting it.
When in doubt,
send a scout. Right. That's the rule.
I like drinking.
Drinking's good.
No, because sometimes when you get to an impasse, it gives you a different perspective on what you're doing.
It changes your mindset.
And you're already so nervous about not being able to fix it that it relaxes you enough to be able to think more clearly.
Do you know what player pianos, ready? Mm-hmm. Player pianos. Do you know what player pianos and luxury cars from the 60s have in common?
Complexity.
Keep going. Miles of vacuum hoses. Miles of goddamn vacuum hoses. So in my childhood, I restored a player piano. Mm-hmm. As a child, we had a player piano. My dad said, if you want to play with a player piano and everything else, you have to fix it. In my world, we garbage pick shit. We had to fix it. That's how we got cool stuff. It was we garbage pick shit and we had to fix it. But then I got a 1968 Lincoln Continental. It had vacuum operated windshield wipers. That's dumb.
I know.
Okay.
Because when you need them, they don't work.
Exactly. It had a vacuum operated speedometer. That's dumb.
When you push the gas pedal, they go.
Yeah, I had vacuum operated power windows, which means if I wanted the windows in the back seat to go up, I had to rev the car up. Right?
Well, you got to take your foot off the gas to get your wipers to go on.
Also true.
When you get on the freeway, you're like, and if it's raining, it's like,
they stall.
You have to take your foot off the gas.
And then they go.
One wipe, hit the gas.
Exactly. So you'd open the hood of a 68 Lincoln Continental, and it would look like a map of the London Underground, but all done with the same color rubber hoses. Because unlike wiring, which is different colors, rubber hoses are all black, and they go everywhere. And now you got to figure out which one of these bastards is leaking. And troubleshooting that kind of shit, as a little kid, taught me it's like, there'll never be too many wires. There'll never be too many hoses, because eventually what are we doing? I'm literally grabbing a piece of hose, I'm sticking it in my mouth, and I'm sucking on it.
I guess my offer of advice is that you need to isolate
the systems,
the problem.
Yep, exactly.
So we're not trying to just fix it and make it run. We're actually trying to isolate and find exactly what the problem is.
Totally
Bag of golf tees.
Fuck, dude.
Another
the whole
example.
car was golf tees.
I know. Everything was golf
Plastic
tees.
golf tees was the whole deal, yeah.
Another example is, some bikes you might have two carburetors. They might be identical carburetors.
Identical. Yeah.
And you're running on the left cylinder, you're not running on the right cylinder. On some bikes, not all of them, and not on 4 cylinders and everything, but on some twins, you can actually swap the carburetors.
Yeah.
And if you put the left carburetor on the right side and it runs great, you know that it's not a carburation problem.
And you can do the fuel lines too. You swap the fuel lines.
You said that about coils on the to start a bike. Try to flip the coils and see what happens.
You'd be amazed at what you can flip left or right.
But do one process at a time.
Absolutely.
Don't do multiple things. Don't clean the carburetors and change the spark plugs and do this, that, and the other thing. Do each thing.
Don't do
one at a
96
time.
things and then try it. Do one thing and try it. Do another thing and try it. Do another thing and try it. Because if you do 16 things and try it, you have no idea what.
If you get it running, then you don't know really
it's a
what
mystery.
you fixed.
Right. It could have been
The
any of
next
these
time
18
you have to
things.
do 16 things.
Right.
Again.
Chris, did you have an actual news story or did you just want to shit on Nokomoto?
No, actually, I got four items I wanted to
Four
go over.
small items.
No, I'm teasing. I got
Of
nothing.
course you didn't.
I
All
got
right.
nothing.
Sleepy, got anything?
No, we addressed mine with the electric Harley bullshit.
Did we know that? Okay, so for the record, this is 3 hours and 21 minutes.
20, yeah.
Okay, so again, all the normal people bowed out. We might want to cut this into 2 chunks. I don't know.
It's up to you.
I
I'll
don't
do
think
whatever
we.
you want.
I don't give a shit. You know, long playing records, they're cool.
I use it to go to bed by.
I
so
think,
I
honestly,
let it play for 3 hours, but I want to listen to the first 5 minutes.
Right, but I also think our audience is weird enough.
Thunderstorm.
I think that a lot of people that listen to this podcast drink with us during the podcast.
Right, that's
so now
true.
they're just hammered and they're having fun.
And they gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, right. I do. I have to get up at
Fuck that.
6.
Oh, what a mess.
Yeah, tomorrow is 5 minutes from now.
Exactly.
I know. Yeah,
Thank
right.
you. Hey, and on that, remember, folks, ride fast and take chances.
Wait,
Tip your
Johnny's
belt.
still in the bathroom.
He can piss it Fuck Johnny back.
Press the red button. Press the red button. Press the red button.
Fuck.
What?
Fuck. What is it? Nokomoto?
I know it's Nokomoto. I don't know.
Fuck you
'em.
guys.
No,
We
they're
love you
Squidward.
guys. We love you guys.
I
but
love them. No.
We love them.
you're
They're
wrong.
great, but they're
Dude.
wrong. They're just wrong.
Look,
Ruprecht,
And
the
also,
monkey boy.
also, Misfits were so wrong. It was not even like shit. It
Well,
was
they
all
started by
wrong.
being wrong.
They were
But
wrong.
honestly, they were wrong enough to call us into action.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
They were wrong enough to activate us.
And then Nokomoto stepped up and tried to be cool.
They did the right thing. They defended Liza's honor.
They did, but
well,
you
actually,
were,
they
you
didn't
were,
defend her honor, but
No,
okay,
but they
yeah.
were wrong too. So that's
But honestly,
They were also homologated.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We all got 2,000 extra hits last week. So it turns out, if you know what, if you're in an orgy, everybody's having more sex.
fine. Right.
Ta-da!
So on that note,
Press the red
again.
button.
Oh, John's back. John's back. John's back.
This episode brought to you by Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.